Welcome back to Factory Sealed. It is March 8th, 2020. My name is Eric Peterson. Joining me today, Mr. Dan Curtis.
Hello!
Hello!
Well, you said last time that I had no enthusiasm, so I thought I'd go the other way.
You can crank it up a little more.
Hello!
Okay. We also got Mr. Mike Tyson.
Down, da 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 da, bum bum da 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 do.
That bruise on his forehead did something.
This is going to be the entire show, by the way.
Worst intro ever.
It's good. It's good, but it's no North Coral.
This is true. Oh, by the way, revelation for you, Daniel. Revelation. Hi, everyone. By the way, it's me.
Hi, Mike.
Dan, revelation for you. Now, granted, it is technically part of North Coral, but I played the original Final Fantasy VII recently.
Town music. I know.
It's actually, well, yeah, it's the actual, it's the tram, the aerial, the wire tram thing. Yeah, you know what I mean.
I know. I've
and you call
realized
yourself
this soon after the joke, but I just thought I'd go with it for the entire duration.
I thought you were a fan.
Fucking Final Fantasy fake fan.
Poser.
I don't like it, really. It's bloody shite.
I don't know. Everybody got the impression I liked it.
I backed away from my mic on that intro. I'm hoping that I didn't blow everyone's ears out, but
if anything, it'll just be a weird cut.
Hello.
Hi.
There you go. You just isolate that entire section of Mike singing and just remove it, Eric.
There, that hello I've just done for you, Eric, was specifically for you to cut in where I would have blown ears out.
You're anticipating that I'm going to remember that.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
You made notes once. That's your quota for his entire lifetime, man.
I'm just outside reach of my keyboard. So we're fucked.
How are we, gentlemen?
Good. Oh man, I am excited.
Did you finally find your penis?
No, still looking.
We've tried the strongest microscopes known to man, and there's still nothing.
We turned the Hubble inward. No sign of life.
I thought I saw it, but that was a speck of dust.
It appeared to get larger, but it was just a bit of fluff from the cat's fur.
Must have made doing snippers quite difficult.
Oh no, there's plenty of balls, just no dick. It's like two cantaloupe.
Did you get a second shirt? Like, you got the all juice, no seed. You got the one all balls, no dick.
It's all beans, no Frank.
Is that what you call your penis?
Yeah, it stays Frank. You know, like Frank and beans, hot
Here's
dogs and
Frankie.
beans. I suppose that's something you guys don't eat over there either. Beans with your hot
I know
dogs.
I know the pork and beans, the Weezer song.
Same thing.
Is it?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But
You're
no,
the American.
This
You answer
always
me.
happen within minutes.
But no,
What, talking about Weezer?
Yes. See how many Weezer tracks you can get in this week,
let's
Mike?
not do that.
Oh, you know what, right?
Okay, yeah.
Not a single fan. I'm really disappointed in the factory sealed universe. That's right. I'm going the wrestling route because I couldn't think what to call them. The fans. There we go. No one noticed mine and Tom's little Easter egg from the Revenge of Shinobi show. So all I'm going to say is listen to the Revenge of Shinobi show and listen to and have the track listings for Linkin Park's Meteora and Linkin Park's Minutes to Midnight in front of you, and start checking some things off.
You made me extremely self-conscious during that show because I was not part of that.
The hardest one, honestly, was because there's a track on the second album called Figure 9. And that was the hardest one to try and get in.
When whoever said that,
what the hell did you say?
It caught me off guard because I'm like, that's wrong, but I'm just going to let it go. Maybe that's an English saying. Because it was Tom, right? He was talking about doing something. He's like, yeah, and you just got to make this quick figure 9 and turn around.
No, that was me. It was me. Because, right, so what it was, to give it a bit of backstory on this. So the episode before, I don't know if anyone will remember, like, I randomly just started saying, like, tracks from Hybrid Theory, the first album. So I came up with this idea where I was just going to not reference it at all and just do the set, like, mention all the tracks from the second album. And a couple of days before, I was like, this is going to be quite hard. I might need Tom to help me set them up. So I messaged Tom about it. He was like, this is a great idea. And we started doing it. And like me and Tom had a track listing of the second album in front of us, and we were checking them off as we went. And they kept giving each other like little smirks and giggles, which kept making Harry paranoid, and we didn't realize. And we got partway through and we're like, fuck, we're flying through these. Do we need to do the third album as well? I'm like, oh, fuck, okay, I'll do it. But yeah, Figure 9 was the hardest. We were trying to figure out how to do it. And I was like, we're going to have to do some like kind of crappy dad joke, aren't we? Like if one of us says like configure-8 or something, and then if we go, oh, well, I'd prefer to Figure 9. And there was a couple of times where like me and Tom set each other up. We said configure-8 or figure 8 and stuff. And Eric jumped in and said something before we had a chance to.
Sorry for ruining your joke that I wasn't a part of.
We pulled up the track listing for the next album after that, and that one would have been impossible. So,
Mike, have you got your British flags ready for his house again?
Oh, there's still plenty here.
I haven't.
There could always be more.
I have got these two United Kingdom pens that I could.
I am still finding flags in random game cases that I open up. I don't remember what it was recently, but I went to, it was Mega Man 11. I haven't played that in a while, and Ellie wanted me to play it, so I opened up and just a waterfall.
Ellie wanted me to play it.
She did. That's Ellie's new thing right now. She's like, Dad, I don't feel good. I'm like, oh, okay, what's wrong? I want you to play Mega Man. Like, I love you.
Bullshit.
It is. It's the truth.
More like, Dad, I don't feel good. Oh, well, I'll tell you what'll make you feel good, eh? Why don't we put on the man Mega? He's not quite as good as Superman, but here we go.
I strap her to a chair, hold her down, and just tape her eyelids open.
And turn into one of the chicken farmers of Stranger's Wrath again.
This just become like the basic impression of anyone, to be honest. We were taking the piss out of you on the Unwrap before you joined, and that's what you sounded like.
It's the easiest one to drift into.
Yeah. But it always reminds me of, you know, when you started, there was one of the straddling competitions. It was back when Jess was still on the show, and you started sounding like you were doing an advert, and you were like giving the instructions of the straddling.
Oh, God, that was hilarious. I laughed so much. It was the Vice City episode where you lapsed into your stupid competition voice.
I just, because like Jess joins in the joke as well. She goes, "What do I do with my arms?" I'm like, well, I'll tell you, Jess.
Well, let me tell you.
Oh man, we've had some good times, lads. We've had some good times.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't there then, but
I'm surprised you've listened to that.
It got progressively worse when you joined, but
yeah, how dare you have good times without me before I knew I existed?
Since then, we've just had times.
Just treading water now, really.
Well, it was the best of times. It was the blurst of times.
Can you believe this is episode 199?
God damn. You realize that we are just about a year and a half away from being 10 years into this?
God. I feel like it's been longer.
No, it's 2 years. It's 2 years. Yeah. But even still, almost 10 years into this.
Yeah, but
a 10-year-old show
and not
and
doing
still
anything.
has the mental ability of a 10-year-old.
We refuse to age.
I feel like we've got worse.
We've
gone from childish straight into senility without any in between.
There's no period of professionalism. It's like your standard human life is child into like your adolescent years. And then you hit this like 20-year stretch of being a really professional and then just downward spiral. We just skipped that middle portion.
Is it that point where like you can just start being, you just start randomly being racist and the family go, oh, that's just old Uncle Sid.
Yeah.
Don't mind him. There's always one in every family.
Yeah. And if you don't know who it is, it's you.
Oh, shit.
But no, back to why I'm excited, Mike. We've got a big week coming up.
Yeah. I'm going to get to touch you in person.
Oh, I can't wait.
Awkward hug.
I've shaved for the occasion. Oh, I can't wait to give Tom a really awkward hug at the airport again.
Oh, you won't get to see me saunter down the entryway this time, though.
Oh, that's
Tom
true.
and I have to come up with just an even more ridiculous way to pick Mike up from the airport.
What's your plan?
I don't know. Maybe big signs that say "Welcome back from sex rehab" or something.
What you should get is, you get those costumes where it looks like, oh, you had one, didn't you? You had your dinosaur one. I was going to say the things where it looks like you're riding something. You should have one of those each.
Oh my God, yes. Welcome back from the bestiality convention.
You should both turn up head to toe in stadium merchandise.
I'll have you know that's a roaring success. I've got shares and everything.
And how are they doing?
The one
It's like
player
golf.
is
The low
invincible.
score is good, right?
If it's got a minus in front of it, that's good, right?
Yeah, it's like golf. But
I
yes,
wonder how Google's actual shares have been doing since Stadia came out. Oof.
for them, it's probably just a pet project. Like, didn't do that well, whatever. Throw it in the bin.
Well, they've just announced
covered all
a new
topics now, so going into stock. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, no. But they are just about to open up a new studio. Like they announced it the other day.
A studio.
Yeah,
Stadia
Like,
Studio.
Yeah, their second studio. They're opening it up.
Is it called
I can't remember the
Studia?
name of the person, but someone from Sony Santa Monica is heading it.
Sorry, Dan.
I really hope it is.
Yeah, right?
We've lost Dan already.
Such an idiot.
Sorry. I'm going to copyright that. Setting the groundations for the streaming future. Studia. This is why I'm not allowed to.
God damn.
What would they call the second one, though?
I don't think there would be a second one.
Well, they've
Give me
just
the second
opened the second
studio?
one. Listen.
Oh.
That's my point. That's how we got onto this conversation.
Oh.
Do you
Bunch
never
of
listen to me,
bunch
Eric?
of
That's
studios in a jeep.
it. What? Does not make any sense.
Getting
whatsoever.
wet in a studio?
That's an old reference.
Yeah. Isn't that from the something something and sausage goggles episode?
I think so. Yeah. He doesn't mean this show, by the way. He means our old YouTube channel,
Yes.
which also includes a video called "No Hair Sea Anals."
Oh, that's what it was. No hair, sea anals, and sausage goggles. Yeah, we were a special
good
special
times.
pair back then. But yes, this Wednesday, Tom flies into Phoenix, and then Mike comes in Thursday, and then Friday we leave for the fabled Vegas.
I am so excited. I also have not had a time off for a while because I've been saving what holiday I had left for this. So
It's going to be a proper Final Fantasy 15 bro trip.
yeah, who did we decide who's who? I think Tom makes a good prompter.
I see
Tom more as Ignis.
No, Tom is Prompto. Super scrawny and wiry.
Yeah, but he's also really posh and probably quite good at cooking.
Yeah, but that's...
Oh yeah, he does go and get cream quite a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, which is Prompto, isn't it? Oh wait, no, I was confusing Ignis and Noctis.
What?
You're just saying all the names now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just figured I'd say it all.
You just got a cast list in front of you.
Yeah.
Is this your Easter egg for this episode? See how many Final Fantasy names you can get.
I got all 4 of them. We're done.
Oh, look outside. Look at that lovely cloud out
actually,
there.
it didn't say gladiolus. So
Isn't that a flower? Gladiola.
Isn't that the part around the outside of a woman's nipple?
show me your gladiolus.
See, I would think you'd have to ask Dan. Surely you just program it in that she shows them to you.
Yeah. Every time you walk by.
It's handy, actually. I'm hoping I've got it all rigged up because I'm not going on the bro trip, unfortunately, and because I'm also on floppy with my imaginary girlfriend.
Yeah, you're not the bro. Luna
You're
Freya's
bro,
not
dude.
invited, and that's who you are.
I didn't play enough Bro Force when it was out. Sorry.
Bro, dude?
Anyway, I've rigged up my imaginary girlfriend system. I think I can travel with it, so I'm hoping it's going to be good. We'll see if we can get some pictures.
I thought you travelled with it to Montana that time.
I did.
I forgot he went to Montana.
I especially liked it when you went to Australia that time and you programmed it to like collapse.
Yeah, have a heat stroke.
I like to mix it up, you know. It makes the holiday more
I want this
interesting.
to feel like a real relationship.
I saw it once on TV and I wanted that.
Oh, we're gonna miss you, Dan.
We'll make sure to take plenty
where
of
am I
photos
going? Like
for
I'm
you.
not dead.
We'll take plenty of photos for you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
it'll be like you're there.
Yeah.
I assume something's going on where I will be there in some form, no doubt. Anyway, so
Well, I'm gonna wear my Dan's Think T-shirt, the But Why shirt.
good idea. It's handsome.
Yeah.
But wait.
Everybody who passes you will stare in wonderment and go, "Wow, that's a thoughtful picture."
They're not just going to ask why he's wearing it.
Hopefully they'll say, but
But
why?
why?
Ah, it's my friend from England. But why? But
Friend is a strong word.
acquaintance?
Tolerable idiot, maybe.
Oh.
So Eric, speaking of Vegas,
Yeah.
I, as the leader of this trip, the man who's kind of sorted everything, I would appreciate it if that every game I play at the casino, I win. If you could sort that for me, thank you.
Oh, I thought you were saying you were the person that was organizing it.
No, you have organised everything.
Oh. I will send a letter. And
Which letter will you send? I always find that B is quite a good one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like the RS and
Adding
T.
to the joke book. God's sake.
I'm going to add.
Where's my section on alphabet?
Open up the index, page 412. But no, apparently Las Vegas right now is a little bit of a ghost town because of the whole beer flu.
Oh, it's coming like a ghost town.
So maybe they'll have all of the casinos set to win.
Will there be tumbleweeds?
Yes.
And some guy in like a guy stooped over in a cowboy outfit, like slapping his leg, going, "Ah, go!"
And then you hear that whistle from the background, and
The cowboys are
Crack of a
too busy
whip.
taking their guns off their horse and then doing various mundane tasks to get through day-to-day life.
Too busy brushing the horse, cleaning the horse.
feeding it.
Watching to see if their horse's testicles shrink or contract.
Wishing they had a world map. Fast travel, sorry. Wishing they had fast travel. Edit that out, Eric.
No,
Make the joke funny. Make the joke funny.
I'm gonna
Anyway,
edit out the part that you corrected.
All right.
And everyone's just gonna think that you're
Duly
an idiot.
noted.
I just said shrink and contract, which are the same thing instead of expand. So,
and I didn't even notice. Someone would go, "If
See,
release something
the
on the
lesson
internet."
there is you just need to sound confident in what you're saying, and nobody will second guess it. Hence, groundations.
I
You
don't
weren't
feel
so
you had the
confident
same
with
commitment
Rearrangel,
for
are you?
Rearrangel. It was all right, but not as good as Groundation.
I think there's that Eddie Izzard bit where he's on about national anthems and stuff, and people never know the words, but it's just a lot of confidence and confirming and denying, and you're fine.
Yeah.
just confirm it and deny it, and you're all good. I couldn't tell you our national anthem here.
Some queen, save the queen.
It's not about bothering the queen. I don't know what she needs to be saved from. Wasp
queen.
stings. Accidentally sitting on the toilet and someone's left the toilet seat up so she gets stuck. Doesn't need to be saved from that. She's an old woman, I guess.
Help!
Philip, you've left it up again.
One's arse is stuck in the porcelain.
Bring the rescue corgis. No, they're too small this time. I'm proper stuck. Maybe the swans.
Doesn't the queen own all the swans in England?
Yeah, she never fucking cleans up after him, does she?
Jesus Christ.
Lazy bitch.
So the queen is now
Can I
stuck
get arrested
in a
for calling the
toilet.
queen a bitch?
Isn't that illegal?
The queen,
I don't know.
the queen's stuck in a toilet, arse first, and rigged up to some swans by some elaborate pulley system, which are going to remove her from the toilet.
Yeah. Can't say I don't have a vivid imagination, can you?
How do we get here?
We sit down and it just happens.
A bit like the
shouldn't-
queen
we
getting stuck
shouldn't
in the
be allowed.
toilet.
There's no chance of getting stuck in a toilet in America, Mike. You'll have those ridiculous stalls to enjoy again soon.
Yeah, that's true. Going back to that, though, right? Have you seen Prince Philip? He looks like the kind of guy who'd leave the toilet seat up.
Well, how hard is it for a woman to come in and put it down? Why do we always have to do that?
This is a dangerous subject to go onto here, Eric.
Why
A lot of
can't
things
they,
on
when
hand.
they're
I tell you
done,
what
put
Prince
it...
Philip looks like? A walking corpse. That's what Prince Philip looks like.
I bet he
How
pisses
is
on
he
the floor
still
and his
alive?
hands and doesn't even wash them. It's the kind of guy he is.
And that's how you get
Right,
the
I
beer
think this is
flip.
verging on treason now, so I better stop. Can you still
All right,
get
you're going to
like...
America, just stay there.
All right, okay.
Mike, are you excited to come back to the States?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I got your vanilla creamer ready for you.
Yes! That is the first picture I'm taking, me and the vanilla cream.
I'm going to buy the double jug.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. And we should
Some sort of travel kettle?
We're going to do a big grill
Steak
out
in the
Thursday
offer?
night. We'll have barbecue Mike stand at the grill.
Yes. American grilling.
American grilling. We got to take Tom to that barbecue place down the corner.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, God, he didn't go, did he?
No.
Nah, he missed it.
I'm so jealous, man. Is there still time to book flights?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they
Let's
were
have a
probably cheaper as well now. I'm really annoyed actually because the flights from Manchester went down in price, and even though they were more expensive than the flights I booked, I think they included baggage. So like it would have cost me the same amount to go from Manchester, which is literally an hour and a half away from where I live, rather than traveling 3 hours to fucking Heathrow. But at least I have a reliable car now, because that's what I was worried about before.
The exhaust is going to stay on the whole time?
Yeah.
That only happens when he goes to head.
Oh, yeah. That's how bad Het is. Even the machines know not to go there.
It's the only place you're going to be safe when Skynet eventually takes over.
It's like there's like a field around Het, so if you ever bring any machinery near it, it thinks it's like witchcraft and it just rusts and dies instantly.
I don't know, didn't we follow that tractor with a boat when we went in that one time I visited?
Yes, which I've never seen ever since.
The boat for the duck pond.
No, that was too big for that duck pond.
Just sits the back end in and just revs the engine and fires the water everywhere.
Mincing up ducks.
As long as the ducks don't move, that's fine.
Some like hick in the front who's going to like cook the ducks afterwards. Hey, Ma, we're eating tonight. Except it's English, so is having duck. All right.
Now then.
Now then. Have you actually, Eric? You haven't. Did you play through all of Sword and Shield, or Sword or Shield?
I haven't even gotten the first badge.
There you go. Like there is a point. I saw it on. I forgot it happened, but I saw it online. Like one of the characters does actually say "now then" at one point.
They even say pants.
Yeah, it's canon. It's real life canon. There you go.
I don't know. I just couldn't get into it.
What, into a cannon?
I could get into a cannon.
Do it. Now.
Okay.
Right now. Go on.
Okay.
Wonder if we could find one at Tom's wedding.
God, that's going to come up real quick.
That's a posh wedding, isn't it? Surely they've got like some guys out front who's going to like do the...
I'm afraid we're going to get there and just be the least posh people in the entire venue and feel completely out of place.
Oh, I'm going to roll with it.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going to absolutely roll with it. One of my favorite things to do at weddings, obviously I'm never offensive or anything like that because I respect the couples, but like, is people who don't know me just get drunk as hell and just be an idiot. Dan's going to be the sober one, so...
He's going to be our wrangler. It's going to be great.
Yeah. You're going to have to be dad.
Yep, come on, Dad.
It's fine. I'm used to it.
Get a little harness for Eric, and then every time he tries to get away, pull him back.
Well, we saw that picture from last time as soon as I left, where Eric's just practically unconscious in a chair with a necklace of sweets in his mouth.
Well, they shouldn't have had... Mike, you shouldn't have had a candy bar there. It's basically like you knew I was coming.
Yeah.
I think we need to redo Jeeves Twist and Shout, but with all four of us.
Oh my God, how funny is that?
Are they going with the video game system idea?
Trip, actually.
Yeah, you come to Sheffield the night before, and we're going to visit like 20 different restaurants that you want to go to.
You can have a cheeky Nando's?
No, there's much better places to eat in Sheffield than Nando's. No. Don't get me wrong, I love me a bit of Nando's, but...
I do like Nando's as well, actually.
I like Nando's.
That and Regret a Manager are the only real places that I remember the names of from over there.
And Regret a Manager isn't even the real name.
That's it. I couldn't tell you anything else.
Still remember to this day standing outside that and him coming around the corner just going, Edna!
Nobody else looked.
I was like, there he is.
All right, here we go.
Because even dumber in real life.
Oh, you have no idea. Oh, Mike, I sent...
Hello?
On our way up to Vegas, I sent Jason McGill a message because he lives right on the way up. So he works at a truck stop and said, you know what, if you're working, we'll swing through and say hi.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, sounds good.
So if anybody else is
good to me.
en route, we can...
But yeah, generally, this is out to the fans as long as you're not someone who's going to, I don't know, kill us or anything. If you're around Vegas next weekend, if you see us, come say hi.
Yeah. I don't know if we have anybody...
Look for the idiot.
Yeah. I don't think there is anybody that lives in Vegas, but who knows? We'll be there.
There must be. Big old place, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got some fun shit planned. So MGM Grand has this VR experience where it's like that Star Wars Secrets of the Empire on steroids, and it's a giant open warehouse where it's group multiplayer open world VR. So we're going to do a survival, some sort of robot survival thing. I gave Tom a list of all the ones that were there.
Oh, man. Why didn't I call?
I
told you. How many times did we tell you?
And then from there, we're going to go and do the actual Star Wars Secrets of the Empire because Mike wants to do that. And that's the...
Oh, is that another? Are we doing 2 VR things?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Yeah,
awesome.
You wanted to do that Star Wars one that we've been talking about because that's real fucking cool.
Didn't the Ghostbusters one end or something?
I think Vegas, so, yeah.
God damn it. Oh, you know what, right? This isn't video game news or trip news, but the new Ghostbusters film is going to be delayed in the UK because of the fucking football. So Euro 2020 is going on at the same time.
So how long is it delayed?
They decided by like a month. So like I've got to avoid spoilers for an entire fucking month.
Oh, I'm going to go watch it and then do nothing but post little snippets of it.
Well, you, sir, can fuck off.
I couldn't get through that. I'm not going to go see it.
Why? It's Ghostbusters. Although if it's anything like the last one, but it's not going to be.
But then the next day we're going to go do some high-speed go-karting. That
oh, God.
Yeah.
Nice knowing you, lads.
They go like 80, 90 miles an hour on the racetrack. It's going to be fucking fun. And then I'm putting Tom in a Ferrari GTB for a few laps around the racetrack.
You're not chucking them out for playing or anything?
I thought about it, but Tom's afraid of heights, and I don't want to do that too.
I'm afraid of heights. I want to jump out of a plane at some point.
I'm afraid of
with a parachute, preferably. But
do you want to go to the stratosphere and jump off the top of that? Because you can. It's like a controlled descent bungee jump off the side of the stratosphere.
Oh, is it like a power fan thing where it controls it's kind of like a thing they use to train guys in the army where you'd literally jump off on a wire, but instead of like going down slowly, you go down at a controlled speed and you just like land.
Yeah.
Because I've done one of those before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done a bungee jump before as well. 150
I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah, I've done it.
I don't know if
I did it. I thought it'd cure my fear of heights. Turns out it didn't.
Made it worse.
It didn't make it worse. It's just
it was
on a similar level.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did that a few years ago. And then, like I said, did that controlled kind of wire jump last year, I think it was. I was at the same place. So yeah, would have been 150 foot as well.
But yeah, that's all the shit happening next week. It's gonna be a grand old time.
No time. Peterson's going to the Petersons.
Something. Shit your pants.
Wait, you said the kids are away, aren't they?
So
you haven't got adult responsibilities. Apart from wiping your own ass.
You should probably know this, mate.
No. Well, they're in school the rest of this week, and then they'll be here. Yeah,
I thought like the whole thing of us choosing this weekend was because Christy was going to be around and the kids weren't, or something.
Christy would be able to take care of the kids, and I wouldn't have to. Because she's off. Christy's off.
Now I understand. She's being the adult.
Yeah. I'm going to revert to teenager mode.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will be as obnoxious as possible.
Good. I hope you enjoy waking up early because my kids get up early.
If you could block his toilet for me, that would be great, Mike. Thanks.
Oh, man. I blocked the toilets at my chiropractor's yesterday.
Tree come out like,
It was the
Maybe
only
that's why
toilet
she
in there
stuck
as
a
well.
needle in your face.
No, that was my acupuncturist. I went to my acupuncturist and a chiropractor yesterday. But yeah, I had to kind of it was in there for ages. And when I first went in, there was one other person in the waiting room, like where the receptionist was. I was like, oh Christ, I hope he's gone. So I'm in there for ages trying to flush it, and went out to see if there was still anyone waiting there. Just, excuse me, I'm like really English, but sorry, I'm really sorry. I think I've blocked your toilet.
They don't keep plungers in the bathrooms over there?
There wasn't one there, no. So luckily she said, oh, don't worry, we've had problems with it all week. And I was like, okay, I don't feel so guilty now.
So everybody in the waiting room didn't come over to have a look, did they, like they did in America?
But it wasn't overflowing from the bowl. It was just in the bowl.
Everybody was there. Even the neighbours were there. There was people I didn't know that were coming in. It was like, oh, look, poo on the floor. Lovely.
Even those neighbours that Eric doesn't get on with.
Yes.
They were there.
Did you install a swimming pool in your bathroom? Why, yes, I did.
Poor Matt Ernie.
Never wanted the ground to swallow me more in that moment.
But think about all of the jokes that it's given us since then.
Yeah. It's funny to look back on. It's always a story. That happened, yeah. I still stand by the fact that it wasn't a good shite. It was a couple of nuggets. It shouldn't have went. It shouldn't have.
Oh, I thought you were about to blame Amelia again.
Yep.
That little kid, terrible. Don't know what she's been eating.
Keeping you up, Eric.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, tired.
It's quite
also
early
in terms of getting up early, yeah, I should be fine because it took me a few days to adjust last time, and also I get up at like 3 a.m. most days for work. So
yeah, it's all right.
At least this time you know you can get up and you don't have to WhatsApp me about it panicking.
Yeah, get up, go downstairs, play some games.
Sounds good.
That's it.
Sounds good. Blast the your sound system, wake everyone up.
Oh yeah. Well, Christy's usually up by like 5:15 every day anyway. So
I see. Ruining my alone time with my video games.
Yeah, that's what it is. Should we get on to some gaming shit?
Yeah, I sang a theme tune at the beginning, and it was quite important.
Dan, would you like to tell us your thoughts about a particular game?
What day is gone?
Sure, let me hear about this deer.
So yeah, I've been playing Days Gone anyway, and it's decent game, like, but it's janky as hell. And yesterday, there's a mission where you have to shoot a deer, and once you shoot the deer, it runs off, and then you have to track it. And I found it dead, but it was upside down with its antlers on the ground and like perched upwards like it was doing a bridge. It's absolutely hilarious. Then there was another one of the enemies are called freakers. They're basically zombies. I killed one, turned around, and then turned around again, and he was standing up in like a weird dramatic pose. It's just it's janky.
Jank aside, is it any fun though?
It's really good actually. It's the horde mechanic is fantastic. The amount of zombie things on screen at once is real impressive. It's actually really intimidating So I walked up this canyon area yesterday, and I got to the end, and there was this cave, and then I kid you not, about 60 of them must have came out at once. I just had to throwing Molotovs at them and running away, and it was crazy. But it's a decent game. I wouldn't have paid. I don't think it's worth full price, mind, but it's down to £19 on the PSN at the moment. If you've got PS Plus, it's definitely worth it.
Can you still get the free Death Stranding DLC where the like tank part between the guy's thighs is the BB?
Yes, it has all kinds of different things. It has God of War, and I think
that is a thing, Eric.
Do you mean the gas tank?
Yeah, the tank. That's what I said.
Yeah, the tank thing.
I don't mean like a tank with like guns and stuff.
See, that's my American brain went there. You say tank, and I think of war.
I think there's Horizon Zero Dawn ones and all kinds of things now. So yeah, they're just there for you to use. I've got the God of War on. That looks pretty sweet.
I've been in this weird gaming slump recently where anytime I turn my system on, I just don't want to play anything. I'll start something and be like, I'm just not in the mood, regardless of what it is. But I did pick up a couple new games this past week. And
what have you got?
One of them is our game of the week, so we'll save that for later. But I picked up 2 Point Hospital on the Switch. And my God, that game translates really well to consoles.
How does it work? Is it touchscreen?
No, it's all control based.
Really?
Yeah, and it's really good. It's really intuitive. You can tell they spent quite a bit of time refining the controls and just making sure everything is easily accessible. But that's just kind of become my go-to bedtime game. I've been really busy at work lately, and sometimes I just need something that doesn't require a whole lot of thought. Just one of those little mindless games you pop in and just kind of zone out. And that's kind of just been the go-to thing. But I don't know. Do you guys ever get in those slumps where you just don't know what to play or don't want to play anything?
Usually towards Christmas for me. But I did have one recently. I think you mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, and I had it then as well after I finished Ni no Kuni. And then I was kind of like, I don't know what I want to play now.
Yeah,
it's not just not knowing what to play. Like sometimes I actually tried to start Grand Theft Auto 5 recently, and I think I was kind of in that sort of headspace. If like I'm a bit of a negative headspace, I can't find joy in any video game, even if it's something that I really, really enjoy. And you know, Grand Theft Auto has all the tools to be something that I'm going to really like, and I fired it up, and I said to you guys, like, I just don't think I like GTA 5, and kind of I've looked back, you know, hindsight 2020, looking how I was that week, and I wasn't really enjoying anything. I think I need to give it another chance another time. But yeah, no, I've had the same thing recently for sure.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I've been at as well is when it's really stressful, or you're just kind of in a weird mental slump. You just don't want to play a game.
But I've been doing some. I attempted to kind of just do a few like small experiences recently because I came out of Death Stranding. I was like, you know, I want something small for a little while. I've now gone against that, which I'll get to in a moment. But so I played back to back. I played To the Moon.
Oh my God.
Donut County and Minute. To the Moon, I absolutely adored. Now, I don't know if this is back on the Switch shop yet, because for some reason it was released on the Switch store. Oh. It is now. It was released on the Switch store, and then
taken down
a couple of days later, they just took it down for no reason. I managed to snag it beforehand. Apparently,
I don't know if it's back up then.
Yeah, it was to do some bug fixes. But I mean, it ran well enough for me. I didn't encounter any problems. But yeah, man, what a just really awesome little story.
I love that game.
I'm pretty sure Dan and Eric have Ghost Attacked about it. Not Dan and Eric and Tom, sorry, have Ghost Attacked about it quite a bit.
I haven't played the sequel, though, Finding Paradise. I have it.
I think it was on one of yours, or it might have been both of yours, top 10 lists at some point for the year.
Definitely was.
But yeah, I can't go into too much detail about spoiling it, but like it has been mentioned on the show before, and it's very story-based kind of top-down game that with very simple rudimentary puzzles that you can't really fail. But it's the story of these scientists who go to this guy who's on his deathbed, and he wants the memory of that he went to the moon implanted into his head, and that's what these scientists do. And it's just a really, really interesting little tale, like some weird twists and turns. But yeah, I loved it. Really, really nice game. Beautiful soundtrack as well.
Oh yeah.
What's Minute like? Because that attracted my attention, and I wasn't sure about it.
Minute's great. It's not very long. You can finish it in a couple of hours. So if you don't know what Minute is, it's almost kind of old school top-down Zelda style game. Really, really kind of basic graphics, but the whole hook of the entire game is you only survive for 1 minute at a time. So you have like a countdown, and you have to progress through the game 1 minute at a time, and then you always kind of go back to the beginning. But the things you do in the world are affected. I'm going to wait.
He hates that joke.
He loves it. Continue, Mike. That's fine.
I'm going to wait. No. Anyway, that's the entire hook. But everything, as you go through, you'll collect certain items that do stay in your inventory, and you end up figuring out the puzzles as you go through and stuff like that. And it's a really, really neat experience, actually. I was disappointed it wasn't a bit longer than it was. But if pick it up cheap, I would for sure. I know Epic Games gave it away as one of their free games a few months back. But that really, really neat little experience that is. I hope that they do a sequel. And that was only a couple hours long, but I think you'd like it, Dan. I think you'd complete it within like an hour easily. Probably.
Possibly in a minute.
Yeah, maybe. But if you see it, I don't know, don't pay any more than like £6-7 for it. It's definitely a short experience. There's collectibles and stuff to be had, but yeah, they're really, really neat if you like that sort of thing. But then, I went on to, I've actually started Skyrim again.
Oh shit. It's about time.
Determined to get on with that game, aren't you?
For the third time. Now, right, watch this space, because I did this last time where I was like, I'm really getting on with this. I can't stop playing it. I'm in that phase again, but I think I may have been playing it wrong in the past. Because
have you Fusro the goat off a mountain yet?
No, not yet.
Then you're definitely playing it wrong.
That's all you need.
Yep.
Okay. In the past, I mean, I've said before about these kind of open world RPG games that I always feel a bit kind of anxious and overwhelmed with them. And I think part of that, and I think looking back on this, I think this is why I fall off the Fallout series so soon. I try and do a bit of everything in terms of like leveling up and stuff like that. And I know deep down that that's not what you're supposed to do. And I've gone into it this time in my head. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to be. I'm going to do these specific skills. I'm giving myself those sort of goals as I'm going through. And it's actually made the game like just really, really interesting for me, more so than it ever has before. Yeah. But I'm enjoying the exploration because I'm now like, rather than me just kind of exploring for the sake of exploring, just right, I'm just getting through the game, trundling through the game. Here's a dungeon. I'm now like tactically doing stuff. So like, I've heard one of the most fun ways to play it, and apparently it is a bit of a cop-out way to play it, is like kind of a sneaky archer. And in the past, I've always been I wanted to do sword and shield, and I've just gone through and just heavied my way through. And now I'm like, I'm making sure I'm working on my archery. I'm making sure I'm working on my pickpocket skills and my sneak skills and everything like that.
I like a sneaky archer on Skyrim. It's
Except
good.
in all the Elder Scrolls games, it's really easy to cheese up your sneak skill. You remember in Oblivion where you could find a guard who was standing somewhere next to a set of stairs, and you could just crouch and sneak into the wall and then put a rubber band around your controller so that it would just keep walking you into the wall, and 15 minutes later you'd be up to level 100 sneak.
Brilliant. But yeah, I'm not cheesing it in any way, shape or form, but yeah, like I say, watch this space, because know me, in a few weeks I'll go, sick of Skyrim, I don't understand, but
sounds about right. We'll try the fourth, Mike.
Maybe third time lucky, who knows. But yeah,
I love
as
sneaking
always,
on
having it on
Skyrim.
Switch.
I love sneaking on Skyrim though, because it's just when you get up to level 100, you can literally just stand next to a bloke and he can't see you.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Just
Hold on, Gagan.
The good thing about Skyrim is though, Mike, if you play that for a long time and you want to try something else, you could.
Yeah.
And start playing as a different.
It doesn't
sort
lock
of
you
build.
into one build.
Oh, okay.
So, for example, if you got sick of being a archer, you could then start learning some spells and start getting better as a mage, or do both.
Well, I'm acquiring some spells, but I'm not like relying on them. Like just little things that might be handy and stuff like that. Like I've not really poured it when I'm leveling up. I'm not really pouring anything into my magicka. It's all really health and stamina I'm going for, because obviously you need the stamina for a lot of the archery skills and stuff. And I'm keeping swords with me so that like if I do need to do close combat, I'm working on sort of my one-handed as well, but not going kind of mental with it. Plus, I scanned my amiibos in and I got the Master Sword, so that's fun.
Oh, I forgot about that. Have you got Fus Rodar? Have you went and got that?
I believe it or not, I haven't actually been to see the Greybeards yet. So I'm literally outside their huge temple. Is where I last saved.
That's
like
the
10 minutes
only
away from the
story bit I would do, and then just after that, just nick off and go and do your own thing. Because those are really cool. The dragon shouts.
Yeah, I've killed a couple of dragons already. I bumped
Can
into.
you learn the dragon shouts without going there? I can't remember.
You learn them, but I don't think you can use them until then. The only one you get is the first one that you get from the dragon fight you have to do outside Whiterun.
I mean, I tried Skyrim VR and being a sneaky archer. That was cool, man. Because you actually use the move controllers as your bow and arrow.
How much time have you really spent in Skyrim VR? Because I have it, and I think I made it to the first city before I went, I could not do 100 hours of this.
Probably about an hour.
Yeah. It's cool, but the VR sickness is real in that.
It's not the sickness for me, it's the blurriness.
Get a pro.
Yeah, I know.
I'm intrigued. Next time I come to yours, Dan, I'm going to have to try your VR out, because I've never, ever seen VR outside of it on a PlayStation Pro, unless Akido's was on a PlayStation.
We can just hook it up to my old PS4 and you can try it here.
No, I want to use Dan's. How dare you?
I've got an old PS4.
Yeah, but it's not Dan's, though, is it?
True.
Think of the
it's all right
time
on
that's been
most
put
games,
in.
like,
The relic that is Daniel's PS4.
That's true. It's slowly
Hey,
dying.
28
served
hours
me
a day he
It's
puts in
still
on that.
going all these years later. It hasn't been replaced. Touch wood. And it will be
28
getting
hours
replaced
a
by
day.
the PS5.
9 days a week.
13 months a year.
Lousy Smarch weather. Sorry, that's my second Simpsons quote. I'm not trying to sneak Simpsons quotes in this time.
Bullshit.
No, I'm really not.
Now you're going to have people looking for
At the
Easter
moment,
eggs
I'm
that
just
don't exist.
The moment I'm just scribbling on this box. There's no list. Yeah.
You're fiddling
Focused
again,
as
Mike.
always. Yeah, always. Well, I've finished the ring on the inside of this tape plug, so I had to move on to something else.
God.
Sit still, you bastard.
Yeah, but I also did. I think you've played this, Eric. Donut County.
Yeah. Interesting little game.
Yeah, fun though. It's like reverse Katamari.
Yeah. It definitely was short. Kind of fun. I bought it the day it came out because I'd seen some hype for it, and I just needed something to pass some time. And I think it's 2 hours long, maybe.
Yeah, it's not very long. Much more story based than I expected.
Yeah.
But I love how everyone's just really angry and everything at that poor raccoon character. I mean, the raccoon character is a bit of an idiot, but yeah, if you've not played Donut County, you basically play as a whole, sucking shit up.
That's great.
And the more shit you suck up, the bigger the hole gets.
Yeah. You're right. It's exactly reverse Katamari. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But that's a good little.
Unfortunately, that was a game that was subject to quite a bit of ripoff when it was being developed, because a lot of other games replicated it and came out before Donut County did.
Oh, really?
Yeah. A lot of
I
knockoff
didn't know
games.
this. The art style and the way the characters looked reminded me a lot of Goose Game,
Yeah, I could see that.
which was interesting. You know, Dice Game of the Year, Goose Game.
I'd be hard pressed to recommend anybody rush out and buy Donut County, but if you see it on the cheap, it's a fun little jaunt.
Yeah, I think it was originally on mobile, wasn't it?
I mean, it came out, the day it came out, it was on Switch. That's what I
Yeah,
played.
but I think it is a mobile zone. I think you can get it fairly cheap on there. I definitely get it on special offer on the eShop.
Yeah.
Faux show. I do want 2 Point Hospital, especially if it runs as well as you said.
so
but
much fun.
£35 at the minute is a bit steep considering I've already paid for it once on PC. So
I don't know.
But
I was fully prepared to pay $60 for it.
but I've got it on my wish list on the eShop. So if it comes down in price, I'll get the old email alert because Nintendo are good like that.
Yeah, you can give it a shot when you're here and see if you like how it controls.
Yeah. The game that I do want, and it is actually on offer at the moment. I mean, it's normally only about £4, but I saw Game Grumps playing it. There's this game on Switch called Roombo, like Rambo, but like with a Roomba.
Oh my God.
And you play as this like little cartoon Roomba that whilst everyone's out the house, burglars come in and you have to stop the burglars by just absolutely mutilating them. And then at the very end of at the end of each level, so you have to set these booby traps around the house, and then like as you kill the burglars, and blood ends up everywhere and everything. And then at the end of the level, you have to quickly clean up as much of the mess as you can as a Roomba.
Oh, that looks awesome. It's only $5.
Yeah, I think it's on offer for about $3.50 at the moment in the UK. I'm tempted.
There's a game that I bought on Switch last week that I bought specifically just to play with you and Tom when you're here, called Screen Cheat. And
Oh yeah.
it essentially what it is it harkens back to the days of split screen multiplayer first person shooter games where friends would get pissed off at each other for killing them, and they're like, oh, you were looking at my screen, you were screen peeping. And this game actually is designed, that's the only way you can play it, because all the characters are invisible, so you can only tell where somebody else is by looking at their screen and their surroundings, and then you just kind of have to shoot in that direction if you know that you're facing that way. I was playing some bot matches on it, and it's really difficult.
Was this in between Ellie begging you to play Mega Man?
Yeah, she was in bed.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Can't play Mega Man when she's in bed. I need to force the Mega Man religion onto someone. But, I also finally, this is a couple weeks ago, but I kept forgetting to mention it. I finally have acquired 2 Nintendo consoles that I've been pining over for quite some time. Finally caved in.
Were you the one who's paid $380,000 for the Nintendo PlayStation?
I did. Let's take a side note on that.
It was either going to be him or General Spendington, really, wasn't it?
We split it. It's an investment
between them two.
Yeah. We have a written.
You get it Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Zach gets it Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays.
We have a court-ordered custody agreement. But no, I finally caved in, bought a GameCube, bought one off my cousin. I was back for my grandpa's funeral and was at my uncle's house and saw one sitting there and
just play the Wii with the component cable. It's better quality.
yeah, but it doesn't look as cool as that right there. See, I'm pointing at it right there.
Yeah, well, I often too like to keep a lunchbox on my shelf.
Yeah, it's got a handle. I can carry it around. But no, I got it because I want to get the Game Boy player so I can play my Game Boy Advance games on the big TV.
I know, I just like to be a dick.
I know. But my real score comes in the form of another Game Boy Advance SP. But this one, I finally found one of the AGS 101 models for ridiculously cheap. Those typically go for $90+. And I walk into the game store and see it sitting there. And I knew what colors the AGS 101s were, but this one was marked at $50. I asked the guy, is that a AGS 101 model? Because that's pretty cheap. And he goes, no, it's not. Like, can you turn it on just to be sure? So he opens it up, turns it on, and just goes, oh, like, I'll take it. And this is the store where my wife has a teacher discount. So it's like a used entertainment store, and I get 20% off. So I got an AGS 101 GBA for $40. And
sweet. What? So did am I following this right? He thought it didn't work.
He thought it was not the AGS 101 screen. So they had marked it
then
as...
because he had it, because he'd labeled it up.
Is that the backlit version for those of us who don't speak nonsense?
It's the super backlit version. The SPs are backlit anyway, but this one has an even brighter backlight.
Because SPR is Latin for illuminated.
It is not.
Well, that super bright backlight will come in real handy when it's on the shelf.
I don't know. I've been playing quite a bit of it. It's great. It's amazing how good Game Boy Advance games look. I can't believe that they even thought of releasing the original GBA without a backlight, because you play that original form factor GBA and you can hardly see shit. It's like, well, everything's just this weird shade of colorful gray.
I have very little experience with the GBA.
What I want to do is I want to take the screen out of that and transplant it into the original form factor GBA, because I can't play on the SP for very long without getting a hand cramp, because it's a weird form.
Yeah, I had the original as well. I had the clear version of like the elongated.
Oh, the Arctic Ice one.
Yeah, that was cool.
I have the white one, but it's about a $50.
I've never been a fan of. Sorry, Eric, go on.
It's about a $50 mod, but I was talking to drawing a blank on his name, one of our listeners who does Game Boy mods. He lives up in Canada. His name will come to me in a minute. But he said that there's an LCD IPS display that you can get that's even brighter than the AGS 101. So I'm probably just going to buy that screen and transplant that in.
Just burns out your retinas.
Yeah.
Just shove one of those snake lights into the side of it like you used to.
I had one of those, and those are garbage.
I distinctly remember trying to play Pokemon with one of them, and it was so difficult.
Yeah. Not fun.
Hey, it was a vast improvement over the
stupid light.
The big like magnifying glass with the little lights you used to put over the top of the original Game Boy.
Yeah.
See, I liked that though. That was great.
Yeah, but it was just so awkward and heavy and like not cool at all. Which reminds me, actually, so I did a Indiegogo, which is a bit like Kickstarter. Of these things, they're originally called the Switch Fix, but they've called it something else. I think it's the Fixture S1 it's called now, which is like this bracket that you attach to the Pro controller, and then the Switch tablet with or without the Joy-Cons on sits on there, and it's ergonomically done so that no matter how you hold it, you don't get like wrist ache or anything like that. And I backed it months and months and months ago, and I was supposed to be getting it this month, but unfortunately it's been delayed due to them struggling to get some parts for it from China, obviously, because China's obviously ceased at the moment.
Morgan Moore, that's his name. I knew it would come to me. The guy
I was a bit disappointed because I was hoping to have that before the Vegas trip, but hey ho.
Hey, I just sent you a picture here to give you a comparison. This is something that Morgan sent me. You can see the difference. The top screen there is the AGS 101, and the one below it is the LCD IPS.
Yeah, it's a lot brighter.
Yeah.
I've never even held one of those Game Boy Advances before.
Oh, they're so comfortable. I really like those.
I did like that thing.
Does your thumb not cover that speaker a little bit, though?
Not really, no.
Okay.
No. I don't know. I really like the GBA. It is such a great little system.
Had no original Mario, though, did it? That's the downside.
It really didn't. But it had ports of all the others.
Are they any good?
Yeah, I like them because they had like little challenge modes within them where you could collect different coins and all that fun stuff. So,
not rings.
I played through the Final Fantasy VI on GBA.
Did you play
really good port.
Final Fantasy Tactics on GBA?
No, I've never played Tactics.
Dude, talk about a ton of game packed into a tiny little cartridge.
It's an impressive little system. I mean, graphically, it still looks really good. We'll get on to this with the Game of the Week, but I thought it looked really good this week.
Yeah.
I've heard that you mentioned Final Fantasy VI. I've heard that the GBA version of that is one of the best ways to play it, like in a modern setting.
It's quite good if you emulate it as well, because you get the frame skip, so you can do like you do and speed it along a bit, Mike.
Oh man, right. So I mentioned earlier I played a bit of the original Final Fantasy VII, so I got the itch to play some of the original recently. So I bought it on Switch, and that has the 3 times speed. I was out of Midgar in less than 3 hours.
Jeez,
and
that's usually a 5 to 6 hour trek.
Yeah, and then I was on the next after you've done Junon, and then you go on the boat over to the new continent
to
and
Rio.
get to Gold Saucer. Yeah, I was there in I think about 4 hours.
Oh my god,
maybe 5. And that was with like taking quite a few attempts to try and get beta early from the Midgar Zolom as well.
Jesus. Should we take some time to talk about this demo? Because I feel like we've been skirting it.
Yeah, I was expecting you to talk about it straight away. And no, my big theme tune at the beginning was wasted. Wasted, I say. It seems out of context now. Eric, edit it out and put it in again.
No, don't.
Do the Mako Reactor song.
We want to keep our last 3 listeners. But yeah, one day I woke up to a message from Mike saying, holy shit, Square has
me.
just.
No, it was Dan.
It was you? I thought it was Mike. Anyway,
Okay.
somebody
You're
said.
you're like one of those, like when
Senile old
parents
gits.
start getting old and they start just reeling through every name for the child.
Shit, it happens all the time. Christy's sister is here right now, and she'll call her sister one of our daughter's names, or sometimes she'll call Ellie me, or she'll call me Amelia. It's just like, it just happens.
Exactly, you like that.
But anyway, I woke up to a message from Dan saying, holy shit, Square just stealth dropped the Final Fantasy demo, which we all predicted was going to happen at some point. They're like, you know what? They're not even going to announce it. We're just going to wake up one day and it's going to be there.
And you lot, especially you, Dan, fucking Johnny Big Spuds weeks ago. Oh, no, if
I
it
don't
comes
like to
out,
brag.
I'm not going to play it. Oh.
Yeah, but
You were
everybody
sat at
knew
work
that was
twitching
bullshit as
all
soon as I
day.
said it.
You were sat at work twitching all day, and I know you were because I was.
Oh, mate, honestly, I had to go with my parents that night as well, so I ate my food very quickly and left, and then just drove home at
Didn't even
ridiculous
talk
speed.
to anyone.
Hi, Mom. Bye, Mom.
Shoveling food into his mouth.
And I went, as soon as I was done, I was like, I'm going to have to go. Final Fantasy VII's demo was out. Straight away.
Well, we're still running on that 4G router here because we had issues getting the broadband hooked up. And I set it to download through the PSN app on my phone. And then when Hazel got home before me, I was like, are you home yet? She said, yeah, turn my PlayStation on. Why? And it'll start downloading. To be fair, it wasn't very huge.
I
Was it like
hardwired
9
mine
gig?
special. 8, I think.
Yeah. I had to wait till like 9:30 that night to play it. I downloaded it first thing in the morning at 6:30 and had to wait 13 hours, 14 hours to play it.
Now, here's a question. Who's played it more than once?
Me.
Not me.
Me, guilty.
I've only played it twice, but
I've already played it twice as well.
Oh, bullshit.
I have, honestly, twice. And the second time around was a lot more fun.
Why? Because you understood it?
Just using the shortcuts for the combat system and things, and just experimenting a bit more with it and not feeling like I have to rush through it all to experience it all very quickly and enjoy it. And, just,
I felt like I wasn't analysing it as much the second time because the first time I was like, just I'm looking at this, I'm looking at it, I want to get on. This better be right, and not angry. I wasn't angry playing it, but
it's so exciting though. Just like Mike said it earlier, I think when that cutscene at the start plays on your TV and the chimes start and the logo comes up and all the orchestral soundtrack soars, like just actual.
When that comet just comes careening in to hit the title screen, there was a smidgen of a tear well up.
There was more than a smidgen of something else coming out of a different part of me. I can tell you that much, my friend.
I've told you,
Still-
Dan, if
we
there's
still
blood
haven't
leaking
cleaned the
out of your
house.
ear, it's not a good sign.
It's just too much. It just comes out of every orifice, Mike, wherever it can.
Oh, God. No, like seriously though, like, what the fuck did we do to deserve this? Just,
I
Bitch
can't
and
believe
moan
they've
for
done
10
it well.
years.
I can't believe. Like, I said to Hazel, I was sat there, and I said to Hazel as soon as it started, I was like, I can't believe this is real.
I said the exact same thing to Christy.
And Hazel just kind of looked at me like, okay.
I said the same thing to myself.
Crystal,
No,
I
but
know
I
you
can't-
don't
that's real.
care.
That moment
And I-
when you get off the train and it just transitions into controlling cloud, like, it was amazing.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't believe I'm actually playing this.
Now, I've brought this up on the show a few times where I've been concerned about the battle system, mainly because sort of Square's action RPG offerings haven't necessarily completely gelled with me. I mean, I have enjoyed Kingdom Hearts, but let's face it, you can, and I think we mentioned this on the Kingdom Hearts show, you can to a degree get away with playing Kingdom Hearts just by mashing X quite a bit.
And I did.
Yeah. And Final Fantasy 15, again, I definitely mentioned this recently because I finished it recently. I didn't necessarily get on with that battle system. And I said to you, I've said all along, if a demo comes out, I will be playing it because you guys were like, I'm not sure, I might wait. All right, no, I will definitely be playing it because if I get a chance to try the battle system out and if it ends up that I don't like it and I end up thinking I have to play a whole game with this, well, several games with this it's going to be, I don't know if I can get on with it. But man, they have nailed this battle system. It's so fucking good. It's interesting what they've done with it.
The only thing that I really found myself sort of frustrated with, and I don't know if it was just me not utilizing it properly, but the camera seems to just not be facing the right direction a lot of times. You just find like you're kind of like with Kingdom Hearts, you feel like you're just swinging towards the screen or swinging at something just out of shot.
I did notice that a bit.
Well, even still with that.
The important thing to remember about the demo is that this is old code, though, so that could have completely changed.
Well, and there's a bunch of stuff missing, too.
Yeah. I mean, no spoilers, but there's certain sections where it'll include different elements. And it does say when you boot it up, I think, like, this is all subject to change and stuff. I don't think they're going to change it massively.
Well, there's obviously bits of cutscene cut out. Like there's parts where this is kind of minor spoilers for the demo, but it's not going to spoil anything like really badly. But there's bits where, like on the original, Cloud has moments where he kind of has inner flashbacks and stuff like that, but you don't see them in the original. This one, he's obviously going to see them, but it zooms in on his face where he's clearly having a bit of a flashback, and then it jarringly cuts back again, and it's obvious that something is supposed to be there.
Yeah, I thought that was weird when I first played it. I was like, that didn't like gel well.
Yeah, well, I watched Gerard Khalil, the completionist. I watched his early impressions of it because he got there's quite a few like video game press got to go play more of it last week at an event before the demo came out, and they got to play more of it. And he even said that, you know, the demo that's come to the public definitely has like stuff taken out, and he mentioned the flashback sections. So yeah, I think because there was one bit where it's mentioned, or are you and Tifa close? I think we're going to get, this is just a random guess, I think we're going to get a little bit of the flashback of the well scene there rather than a bit later on.
Don't. I know what it is. I've seen the clip.
God, how hot for Cloud is Jesse? Holy shit.
No, how hot? Oh yeah, sorry. You got it. You did get it right.
Yeah.
Well, he is attractive, you know. He's got the whole chocobo hair thing going on.
I guess.
Back to the battle system. Sword. Sorry, Dan. Go on.
Sorry, crack on.
Yeah, back to the battle system. I can't believe how well they've kind of gelled the two systems. If you've not played the demo yet and you're intrigued, they've somehow managed to integrate the ATB system and the commands of the ATB system in with the action RPG part. Like, I spent more time in menus than I expected to, and I mean that in a good way.
Well, it's kind
of a massive mix of Square Enix of old and Square Enix of new, and they finally seem to have found that transition between these two periods.
When they first announced that you were going to be able to do the classic system where you could go into a menu, I was afraid it was just going to be kind of like the Divinity games where it just freeze the action, but it doesn't. It just dramatically slows it down. Shit is still happening really slow. But I'm glad they didn't just freeze it out, because I don't like that option.
But what I love you feel so strong and powerful in it, but also the enemies aren't that easy. So, but I love transitioning because your ATB bar for you to do your commands, so to do your magic or your character's abilities or your items, you have to wait for the ATB bars to go up. And the way you build the ATB bars, they do go up very, very slowly by themselves, but you need to control the character and do action. So you need to be swiping with Cloud Sword, or if you're using Barret, be shooting and stuff like that. But what I love doing, I've got the groove with it on my second playthrough. So I was fighting one of the, oh Christ, I can't remember the name, one of those things that looks like a car on legs with a gun, sweeper, that's it. Fighting one of the sweepers, and obviously it advises you to use lightning magic against it, which Barret has in this because it doesn't let you alter the materia. And I loved like fighting as Barret, getting his ATB up, getting him to cast magic, cast bolt, and the moment I've chosen that on his menu, swapping over to Cloud, and then while Barret is doing that, you're then using Cloud to hack and slash to get his ATB bar up, to then use Braver or some other magic or whatever on it, and then as soon as he starts using that, swaps immediately back to Barret with the D-pad and start using him again, get his ATB bar up. And I love that switching between them. It feels so fast and frantic, but you still feel so in control of their abilities. I'm really, really impressed.
Yeah, it's just so fast and fluid, and everything has such weight to it. Like Cloud's attacks with the Buster Sword just feel so satisfying. Like, they're just perfect.
Well, you can switch between
into aerial combat and things like that, depending on the situation.
Well, and you can switch between the two attack modes too, where one is really fast paced and sort of weak, but then the other one is very slow but has a lot of damage to it and is easily interrupted.
Yeah, that's cool. And Barrett has that overcharge move where you have to pump triangle to charge up his gun.
Well, and
really
I
cool.
like the ATB battle or the ATB system and how they did it, because it does create a sense of urgency and a little bit of strategy to it, because you can't just stay in the fray and then just pop a potion whenever you want. Especially during that boss battle, I found myself having to run away quite a bit, and I died a lot in there. I didn't ever get the game over screen, but I died a ton because I wasn't paying attention to the ATB system.
Do you know what, though? I think the boss battles in this are going to be such a special attraction every single time. I've seen some footage of the... Obviously, we get the Guard Scorpion, although it's the Scorpion Sentinel now it's called. But the Guard Scorpion boss fight in this, and, it is truly epic. It's such an epic fight. And I've seen footage of the Airbuster battle, and I've seen footage of... it's not called Apps anymore, is it? It's called something else.
Abzu,
yeah. And it just... everything just... I think that is going to be the key things on this now. Is going to be the boss battles. I mean, I know some of the boss battles in the original were epic and memorable and everything like that, but I think this time they're truly challenging, and I think they're all going to have certain set pieces within them. I mean, like there's points where the Guard Scorpion just it starts going up on the walls, and you have to use Barrett to shoot it and things like that. That obviously it gets to when it gets to a certain amount of health. And yeah, I'm just so looking forward to this. I am.
Guys,
the hype train has left the station, people.
Have you read up on the boss battle with the Airbuster and kind of what the press have been saying about it? I don't know if we want to go into this because it's kind of spoilery, but
I remember reading something about it.
I don't know.
So,
I guess if it's
not
out
too
in the
bad.
press,
But basically, in the build-up to when you fight the Airbuster, you'll see it on like a production line, and there are different bits where you can interact with how the Airbuster is created, so you can like nerf it for the upcoming battle, and there's different options. You can only select one at a time, but depending on what you select, the boss battle will be different.
That's
For example,
cool.
That's sweet.
It might like nerf its guns or stop its healing abilities or something like that, but you've got to make that decision. And Eric, apparently, the pressing the button mini game is in it at the same time.
Oh, yes.
Now, I am not going to mention the specifics because I know there's probably listeners who do not want to play the demo and don't want anything spoiled. So I want to mention this, but I'm going to have to skirt around it to make sure we don't spoil anything. But I liked the inclusion.
Spoiler of the week.
Yeah. No, how I'm going to phrase this is not going to spoil anything, but that beginning boss battle, that beginning reactor section that we get in this demo, how they've added Shinra's involvement with it is very interesting. I'm not going to say anymore because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who doesn't want to play it.
Did you guys choose the 20 minutes on the timer for the bomb? Because if you do, you get a special cutscene at the end.
Yes.
I chose 30 minutes originally and then 20 the second time around.
Amateur.
I did the same because I thought the timer was going to be during the boss battle.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you only need about probably 4 minutes to get to the top. So.
Yeah.
That's not bad. But yeah, the Shinra's involvement with it, I think that's a really interesting wrinkle. If this is the kind of things they're going to put in as extra story beats, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, they've done a ton to flesh out the world, too. Even just within that opening cutscene where you can see where Aerith is sitting there and the life stream particles are reacting to her. And then you hear the one-winged angel music in the background, and she looks down the back alley. And
oh, I thought it was My Heart Will Go On.
Similar songs, different universe. But you get the impression that Sephiroth is there, and he's aware of her and her powers and her abilities, and she's just kind of this innocent being within this really dark, twisted, corrupt city.
You get the scale of Midgar in a way that you haven't in the past.
What I thought was really weird is that when they showed up, when they released that 5-minute opening trailer a couple weeks ago, how they had, panning through the city and seeing the kids on the bike, I was expecting that to be part of the opening of the game, but that wasn't there this time.
Well, yeah, but if you notice, it literally cuts straight to Aerith rather than, like on the original where it pans the sky, doesn't it, before it gets to her. Like even that was cut out, so I think they've cut it down a little bit for the demo. To make it a bit smaller.
Because that opening cutscene includes the entire section where it goes through Midgar and shows people working in the playground and all that kind of stuff. So, like I say, this is the demo's old code. So chances are maybe that bit wasn't in.
We are.
They've added it in there.
I imagine they just want to keep it below a certain size as well. Like,
I still just
It
can't
is
believe
gonna
that
be a huge
we're
game.
4.5 weeks away from this.
Resi
Just
3
think-
first,
just-
bitches.
When is Resi 3? The 3rd?
Yeah, 3rd is literally the Friday before.
There's no fucking way we're going to be done with that.
Oh, it's same. Yeah.
Just think the game would have been out now, wouldn't it?
No,
If it
it'd
was
be out
yeah.
Wasn't it originally
March. Yeah,
20th?
it would have been out. Yes,
the 3rd?
I want to say
I'm
March.
sure it's
10th,
like
but
2 days ago. I'm sure it was meant to be out the 6th or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, whatever. That's
Anyway,
right, because it was
yeah.
originally going
I'm not
to...
bothered. Take your time, guys.
It was going to conflict with your trip here.
Yeah. It was going to be the Friday before. I remember now. But
so-
I've already
Here's
I've already
something...
told Hazel because that's Good Friday when it actually comes out, which is annoying because I found a pre-order price on base.com, which is where I get most of my pre-orders. They're not a sponsor, but it's where I get most of my pre-orders, and I got a pre-order of it for, I think it was £38.85 with free delivery.
Oh, that's cheap.
This was like I pre-ordered this ages ago, and then when it got changed to Good Friday, base used Royal Mail. Royal Mail did not deliver on Good Friday, so I am not risking that. So I've had to cancel that pre-order and go to Game and buy a more expensive version because Game are open on Good Friday. So I've already told Hazel that Good Friday is my Final Fantasy day.
I'm just doing mine as a store pickup at Best Buy.
Yeah,
But here's the thing that I was thinking about while I was playing this, and I don't know if you guys are the same way, but I can vividly remember the exact place and the setting where I was when I first experienced this game for the very first time. Sitting in my grandma's basement with one of my friends who had brought over his PlayStation and Final Fantasy VII, and him introducing it to me, and just kind of remember that entire atmosphere and that feeling of like, wow, this is something special. And seeing this now, what is it, 23 years later?
I think it's 25 plus. I think since it came out, 1997, wasn't it?
Yeah, so 23 years.
Do you know what I think
yeah.
is a nice touch? Sorry to kind of derail a sec, Eric, but what is a real nice touch? This demo that we've got is the exact same beginning and end section that we got in the original demo years ago.
Really?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. There was a demo of this that came out, and it was this exact section, which I think is a nice callback. But anyway, Eric, yeah, sorry.
So what I'm excited for is there's a whole new generation of kids that are going to be exposed to Final Fantasy VII that were my age when Final Fantasy VII came out. So for like 20 years from now, they're going to look back at this and they're going to have those memories, hopefully, of the first time they played Final Fantasy VII, and just moving that forward to another generation. And it's just exciting to see.
Everything's just so iconic for me. It's when I was sat there and I was playing it, everything that happened brought a massive smile on my face. Just so much nostalgia, and them mixing it up a bit, and just seeing these characters I'd known and loved for years just brought to life in such vivid detail. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait for the full release.
I really like how much
I'm just going to lose my shit. I'm not going to lie.
I love how much character they're giving to Biggs and Wedge. Just
And Jesse.
Yeah, they're just such neat characters. They kind of felt like throwaway characters in the original.
See, I wonder how long of a story we get before the plate falls. Because I think the plate fall will end up being about halfway through the game. And if this is supposed to be like a 30-hour experience, like if you're just golden pathing it, I think we're going to get a lot of time with Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse, and I hope we do.
So Tom was
Mike, you know how...
Go ahead.
Mike, you know how you had concerns about the side quests and the monster hunting and stuff? Apparently, what they've done is focused on quality over quantity. So they're hopefully going to be quite fleshed out side quests, which are on a quality of the main game, rather than just hunt this monster, etc.
It's going to be interesting to see how they work the side quests into this Midgar section, because if you go back and play the original Final Fantasy,
it's pretty straightforward.
I did recently. The Midgar section is a lot more linear than you think it is.
Yeah,
it is. I imagine it's going to be a bit more open world. I think that's what's going to happen.
To be honest, if you think about it, and I didn't get this far in this playthrough, but if you think about it, even when you get onto the world map, Final Fantasy VII is fairly linear for a long, long time. Thinking about it, the only time, the first point, really, if you completely think about it, where you have an option to go do something else, is
Cosmo Canyon.
after Rocket Town, and you can obviously the main quest is go to Temple of the Ancients, or you can go off and do Wutai. If you think about it, it's actually quite linear until then.
They are quite linear, but people always forget this because the illusion is that you have this big open world map to explore, but there's not. There's always a path to follow. You just kind of have this world map to go through, and I think that's why 13 gets a lot of flack because it was missing the open, like the world map kind of aspect, and it was a bit more corridory, but it does follow a similar path to the originals.
I mean, 9 especially, thinking of 9, that really guides you for a long, long time.
Well, if you think about 8, though, 8 has that, like you said, illusion of an open world because you do get access to free roam the world quite early, but Final Fantasy 8's a pretty...
10 minutes in.
It's a pretty barren world. There's not much there.
There's a deep sea research facility. What more do you want?
See some trains going around.
Yeah.
What more do you want?
Yeah. Can't get knocked over by them, though.
But
they just stop.
I'm excited. I am excited.
Yeah, like I said, the hype train has left the station. It's just I was excited about this anyway. Obviously, I was really, really concerned about the battle system, but just so excited.
Fortunately, we don't.
I could talk about it. I could talk about it forever. I'm just so excited. I don't think I've ever been this excited for a game release, to be honest. And
as it stands, we don't have a show that weekend, so we can all just play.
What?
I would have been anyway, mate. You wouldn't have seen me. Sorry.
Screw this.
I'm not switching off the PlayStation until it's done.
Oh my god, I can imagine.
So, question.
Insert.
I don't think we've discussed this on the show, so this is kind of a bit of a reveal for the audience. I know we had a plan to kind of do a show on the remake after that, so we don't have to play another game alongside it. Are we still kind of planning on that? Or?
I think we need to.
Yeah, okay.
I definitely think we need to. That way
I mean, it's technically a retro game.
Yeah.
We'll try and keep it light on spoilers, though, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I think anything that is in regards to the original is fair game because of how old it is, and we've actually covered it on the show many, many times, and actually we've done episodes on it. But I think just all the new stuff, we just have to...
But we'll probably still put a disclaimer up at the beginning saying, look, we'll try our best to avoid spoilers here, but there may be some. So...
Listen at your own risk.
Ahead.
Anything else coming up between now and then?
Resident Evil 3.
Well, we talked about that.
Resident Evil 3. Did you see that thing that came out this week that has been debunked, but they thought that Nemesis was going to come and get you in safe rooms?
God, that would have just sucked.
Yeah. IGN has updated the article, but it came from a magazine interview. There was some words that were kind of just misconstrued, and the internet was kind of going wild for a few hours thinking that Nemesis was going to come and get you in safe rooms. But I thought about that. Kind of makes sense in the newer one, though, because if you think back to Resident Evil 2, you can use the typewriters to save your progress in case you fuck up, or 2, if you want to go back a bit further than what your checkpoint is, or if you need to save immediately rather than finding somewhere where it's going to auto-save and you need to turn your game off. There's checkpoints in these newer ones. So him being able to get you in safe rooms wouldn't be too much of a...
I think they should have done it. I think it would have been quite impactful. I mean, he looks terrifying to start with, but...
Oh, did you guys see that footage that I sent?
Yes.
Yeah, where he jumps in front of her and stuff. Wow.
Do you know who I am?
So yeah, we're putting out... Eric wants somebody in the community, right, who can do a mod to mod Nemi with my voice, please.
He just busts open the door. Do you know who I am? I'm Nemi.
Don't you know who I am?
Want a bare knuckle brawl?
You said it, Dan. That RE engine, something special. That game was beautiful.
It looks great. I mean, I think the Final Fantasy new engine is on a high level. I think it looks pretty damn good.
Yeah, but I don't know. You seen that fire?
I just love how the materia and stuff's in the weapons. Like, how cool is that?
But do you think that, so back to that for a second, though, do you think that as you get different weapons, they're going to have the exact number of materia slots available that you can fill, or is it just going to be kind of a cosmetic thing?
I think the attention to detail is probably, because if you look at Cloud's Buster Sword, that has 2 slots, and there are 2 slots in it. But
I like
the
that you even
weapons
see it in
do
Barrett's
actually
gun.
change in cutscenes as well. So if you had, for example, the nail bat equipped, then you would be holding the nail bat in a cutscene.
Awesome. That sounds good to
It
me.
just looks mint. It looks really
Does that
good.
mean Barrett's going to have like his atomic scissors?
Can I?
Yeah, he has. There is a clip out there where he has one of his melee weapons instead of the gun. So they are in there.
Can I just make a quick comment on this, because I'd like to hear if there's anybody else in the community that feels similar to the way I do. I can't stand the new Barrett. I just can't get on with him. I get it. He's this eco-terrorist who's a little over the top, but I think they've just leaned a little too heavily into it, and he just comes across as obnoxious and overacted and just stereotypical.
See, we've been discussing this in WhatsApp, and you know that obviously I disagree with you.
I know.
But
As do I.
okay,
How dare you
I'm
say
not going to
bad
argue
things
with
about Final Fantasy.
He does have an air of being a bit stereotypical. I will give you that. But in terms of you thinking it's overacted and obnoxious and everything like that, 2 points I'd like as a reason why it doesn't bother me and why I think it's good. One, Barrett's character changes quite a bit throughout Final Fantasy, and he is always, at the beginning, put on this really hard front of this big, hard dude who, you know, believes in what he believes in, doesn't take any shit. And then you see the softer side of him when you see Marlene. And then you obviously his soft side when you eventually get to North Coral, and his favorite track is playing, and you have to find out Ardine and everything like that. And that, you know, that he truly cared about his town. He's had a hard life and everything like that. And you see him like be quiet and solemn for quite a while. And, you know, you hear him talking about how much he loved his wife and everything like that. I think part of it is supposed to be him putting on a front. So that works for me. But two, Barrett's dialogue at the beginning there has always been a little bit goofy. And I think he still had to have that rant at Cloud. And otherwise everyone would be mad that they changed too much of it. In kind of the more quote-unquote realistic version of this game, it's how the characters react to the way he is that makes it work. Because at that point where he's in the lift and he's having that rant that he normally has in the lift when they go into the reactor, you can't see Cloud and Jesse's reactions because they're obviously just the Dorito characters there, the expressionless. And, I mean, they don't even have mouths, I don't think. And when he's doing his rant, Jesse kind of looks at Cloud and kind of shrugs in a kind of, yeah, I know, he gets like this kind of way. And Cloud almost sort of rolls his eyes
we were
at him.
talking about earlier. That's who Barrett is.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it works because they've done that. It works. I think if Jesse had been whole gung-ho with him as well, it would have been cheesy as fuck. But it's all about the reactions, and I think it works. We're going to have to agree to disagree. I'm just saying why I think it works.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things that I just can't look past at this point. I'm hoping my opinion on it changes as we play more, but it just comes across as just campy and...
But Final Fantasy VII is campy. That's my thing.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I'm not trying to make you change your mind.
We'll see.
I think he will over time.
I'm sure I'm going to like him
before.
in the end, but it just right now, ever since they released his first scene of him having dialogue, it just has rubbed me the wrong way.
Let's face it, we haven't seen lots of dialogue so far. We've seen snippets, but we've never seen really full scenes and stuff. We have with the demo, I guess, but we haven't until we experience it all. We'll have to see how it goes.
God, the voice actor they got for Cloud is spot on.
Yeah,
I think all of the voice acting is spot on. I mean, I know obviously you disagree about Barrett, but I don't know. I think they're all really they're really passionate performances. I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping the people that they've hired have a passion for the game as well, and I think that might be why it's pushing through.
half of them haven't played it. I checked.
Have they not?
No.
Oh.
What's this
I tell you,
game?
the guy who plays Badger from Breaking Bad as Wedge is an interesting choice.
And the man who is Biggs is the same voice actor who voiced Balthea in Final Fantasy XII.
Oh, shit.
And the one who voices Jesse is Futaba in Persona 5.
Who?
Never heard of it.
Me either. It's apparently shite. Wouldn't bother. Game of the decade for a reason, lads. You're only missing it out. You're missing out. I'm telling you.
Pass.
Bring it out on Switch and I'll play it.
Well, it was meant to be coming out, but nothing's ever been announced.
Are you interested in that Persona 5 Scramble, Daniel? Apparently it's a sequel to... It's basically like a Dynasty Warriors game, but apparently it's essentially
I can't get on with Dynasty
it's like
Warriors.
Hyrule Warriors.
It's a storyline continuation, though. It basically starts where Persona 5 ends.
No, I'm all about that Persona 5 Royal, though. I'm 100% getting that.
Doesn't even want to carry on the story, Eric, fake fan.
Poser.
Well, Persona 5 Royal expands the story.
Yeah, but this one continues it.
Final Fantasy 7 expands my dick.
It doesn't need to continue. It was all wrapped up. I never heard what you said.
You're going to have to listen to the show back unless you're a fake fan of this as well.
I am a shite. I don't know why we bother.
Can't wait for Dan's review of the show. It's shite.
I'm on it.
That's me who's been doing all the 1 out of 5s.
Are you
I'm so
gamer
sick
grandpa?
about talking about Final Fantasy and Zelda that I'm going to complain about it. But yeah, I'm excited for Resi 3. Very, very excited. I'm really, really upset that I am probably only get to play half of it before Final Fantasy 7 comes out, but we shall see. Eric, is that a tape measure or are you just happy to see me?
Both. I'm measuring how happy I'm having to see you.
We'll have to find it first.
I'm measuring for it.
Daniel, did you say you're trying out So Nice the Hedgepig Forces?
I did.
How shit is that?
How terrible is it?
It's not so good. It's passable. It's a nice little game to just blitz through, and not really expect much of it. But boy, oh boy, the cutscenes are terrible. Yes, Mike. But the stupid avatar thing that they've put in it, I don't know why. They didn't need to do that.
Well, the big blue guys.
Fuck off, Mike. Just do one. Go away.
Oh, I am in a mood today.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
You know what? It's just it's there. It was released. It's free.
That's not saying much.
I enjoy the stages are mega short as well. You can blitz through them probably in 30 seconds.
What? Well, I know he's fast, but that's pretty fast.
Yeah, that's short for a Sonic game. And they could have just stuck with Sonic and Sonic Generations Sonic, like the old classic Sonic levels, and that would have been fine. But they put this stupid avatar in it as well, who you can customize and give him different weapons and stuff. It's just unnecessary. And the story.
See, Dan, this
just
is why you need to get yourself
hokey.
an Xbox. Do you know what one of the games with gold this month is? Sonic Generations.
Apart from I've already got it on PS3, so it doesn't matter.
Up-resed if you've got a One X.
He's not interested in that.
No.
He prefers to have it blurry and stretched.
You're damn right. You want to see the resolution on the TV downstairs when we're watching TV, man? Zoomed in. Stretch.
Oh my god, it's like going to my grandparents' house when you go to watch TV and you're watching the news and the little icon in the bottom right's not even on the screen.
Dan has it so stretched and zoomed in that when he's watching
isn't on the screen.
Dan has it so zoomed in and stretched that when Deirdre on Coronation Street goes, you can really see the veins on her neck.
You can do that.
That's a British joke for you.
Anything else we want to chat about before we get to our game of the week?
I did write some things on a list somewhere. We do prep a little bit, you know.
Did on here.
The PS2 is 20 years old.
Oh.
Us being a retro gaming show, should probably mention this.
Probably should.
God, it was shit, wasn't it, the PS2?
Oh, you can just go fuck off.
What a terrible console. Why did they bother?
Oh, God, right. I was scrolling through Facebook this morning, and you know those like gaming pages that just have like fucking clickbait headlines and stuff. It's not one that I follow. It was a suggested link, and it was the secret feature of the PS2 finally revealed. Can any of you guess what it was? Because I guessed what it was before I even clicked.
You can turn the PlayStation symbol.
Ding, 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 ding. Correct answer.
Everybody knows this.
Yeah, right, but I looked in the comments. There was people who were shocked. There were people who went. There was people literally going, "Oh, I didn't know you could do this," and people going, "Oh, I did it once. I thought I'd broken it."
Mike, have you seen people on
people.
Facebook? Have you seen people on Facebook?
Yes, many are after Cheat of Druids.
There's so I follow the WWE on Facebook, and the amount of people who believe that shit is real still is ridiculous.
Still real to me, son. No, I'm joking. No, it's not real.
Mike, that
we all know it's
WWE
fake.
meme that you posted on your Facebook this morning, I saw and just about shit myself. It was so funny.
I don't remember what I posted.
The one where you have coronavirus, but WrestleMania tickets went on sale.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, spread it.
If you want more of that kind of thing, Eric, you need to follow porn memes on Reddit.
Oh, is it one of those ones? Is
yeah.
it? Yeah. It's the like obviously a still from a porn movie.
Just
the girl laid
subtitle.
back. It says, "Ooh, spread it."
Yeah, but I can't believe that people didn't know about that.
I know, but anyway, yeah, PS2. What a lovely little console that was.
I loved it. I loved it.
Yes, I own the original version, and I've got the Slim as well. Was there 2 slimline versions of it?
I don't think so.
No, there was only one.
Just the one.
Are you sure? Didn't they make a small one, then an even smaller one?
No, just the top, the one with the pop topped open. My original PS2 had that issue where it would stop reading the blue discs, so I had to open it up, and there was this little white gear that you'd have to shove a screwdriver in and twist it to adjust the laser height every so often. And finally, it just gave out. So I decided to cheat the system and bought a new PS2 and put the old one in the box and returned it.
Oh, well, I'm glad that you're admitting to fraud, because I've got a story about my PS2 that's basically admitted to fraud. So, my first ever PS2 that I got, my dad took out extended warranty, but he also took he took out accidental damage cover on it as well. And my PS2, I don't know why, but for some reason I had opened it up. No idea which obviously voids any warranty whatsoever. And it started doing this thing where it kept not reading discs, and then it would actually scratch the disc in a very specific place every single time. And it was a real deep scratch. It was ruining discs, basically. And I'd opened it up, and my dad was like, "Well, we'll claim on the warranty." I was like, "It's kind of been opened up, so we can't." He's like, "Right, okay, well, you're going to have to accidentally damage it in some way, shape, or form." In a way that would have opened it up.
Sledgehammer.
No, well, so I thought, well, what's believable? Dropped it down the stairs. Let me tell you, those PS2s were built quite solid, because I threw that thing down my stairs and back up and back down and back up and back down and back up and back down good 8 or 9 times before that thing fell apart. When I say threw down the stairs, I mean like arms above the head, slamming it down to the stairs.
Did you get a replacement in the end, Mike?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Got a new PS2. Great. That's one of my favourite PS2 memories.
One of my favourites is, so I got, I think it was the original Xbox or the Xbox 360 for Christmas.
No, talk about the PS2, mate.
Yeah, it's not the same system.
I'm getting to that. And I remember my parents gave me the Matrix Path of Neo, and and it was meant to be for Xbox, but in the box there was a PS2 copy. And my old PS2 had just given up on life, and my parents, turns out, had bought me a new one for my birthday. So I got the PS2 the day after Christmas as well. And then I was like, now I can actually play Matrix Path of Neo, because I thought I was going to have to take it back and not be able to play it and stuff. But yeah, that was a good memory. 2 consoles, 2 days.
Ooh, spoiled little Daniel.
That's how I was on Christmas when the N64 came out. I got the N64 and the PlayStation 1 on the same day. When we went back to school and everybody went around the classroom like, "Oh, what everybody get for Christmas?" I'm like, "I got both of these." And for that day, I was the coolest kid in school.
That was the only day.
That was it. And it ended. All downhill
And
from
then
there.
the next day, he dyed his hair ginger and sat waiting for the women to just line up in an orderly queue.
And they never came.
I don't know why. What a catch.
Don't judge me.
Still the biggest selling video games console of all time, though.
Yeah, they had
over 150 million units.
They had some fantastic games right up to the end. Rogue Galaxy was kind of that system's RPG swan song.
What a game, man.
Oh,
Still not played that.
Oh, you need to.
You got to play it, dude. He recommended it to me for years, and it was great.
Yep.
Rogue Galaxy,
so
you said.
Dark
Legacy
Chronicle and Dark Cloud are brilliant as well.
Yep.
Yeah. I did buy Rogue Legacy on
PS4?
sale on PS4 ages ago. I've not played it yet.
It is well worth your time.
Yeah. The PS2 for a long time for me, because, I've mentioned before, I kind of stopped playing games for a long while. That was sort of towards the tail end of the PS2 era. The PS2, for me, for the longest time, was almost just my wrestling game machine. I played so many of the PS2 wrestling
people
games.
who just bought it
SmackDown,
from
Here Comes the
Madden.
Pain.
Yeah, Here Comes the Pain was brilliant. I
still
remember being
remember
so excited. I remember being so excited for what was SmackDown 3 called? Just Bring It. It was the first one on the PS2,
Yeah.
and it was quite early on the PS2, and I remember being so excited for it because it was like it was
Caution.
such an upgrade compared to
Attention.
SmackDown 2. And
And it took up
And-
like all of your space on your memory card for some reason.
It did. And then like the season mode was so like short and everything. It was like really lacking in features, but I was still like just absolutely enamored with it. So when eventually Here Comes the Pain
it
did
was
come out,
amazing at the time, Mike.
yeah. Oh no, it was Shut Your Mouth after Just Bring It, wasn't it? That was SmackDown 4.
It was.
Then when that
Here
came
Comes
out,
the
it was
Pain is
great.
the pinnacle, though. That was when it really hit the peak, I think. But just think
That's
how many
so
good
good.
games there was on that system, man. We were spoiled. Final Fantasy X,
Metal
Final
Gear
Fantasy
2 and
12.
3.
Metal Gear 2 and 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City,
Ratchet and
San
Clank,
Andreas.
Jack and Daxter.
Silent Hill 2. Still one of the greatest. I mean, I said recently, obviously, Blair Witch Project, probably the greatest horror game of all time. I mean that in terms of like just feeling of horror and stuff like that. But
Ico, Shadow of the Colossus.
Silent Hill 2, just the eeriness and the psychological horror and everything of that, and really what it established for Silent Hill as a series was so fucking good. I mean, that first one, it was a tale about, religion within the town and everything like that. And then the second one really was that psychological adventure where everything is kind of created from James's head and, his guilt and his fears and everything like that. And love Silent Hill 2 so much.
Certainly a lot better than the third.
Doorknob Twiddle Simulator.
They took inspiration from Dino Crisis.
Oh, God.
Do you remember seeing Metal Gear Solid 2 for the first time?
Oh, God, yeah.
Seeing that footage of Snake walking on the bridge and the rain and the wind and
Then the cape.
And the disappointment of playing as Raiden.
Yeah, but then you got to see naked cartwheels towards the end, so it all worked out.
I still distinctly remember how much I freaked out by the Codex scenes at the end where the Colonel goes nuts.
Yeah.
I had no idea what was going on. And I actually did contemplate switching off my PS2 when it told me to.
you are an idiot.
I was only small.
Well, then maybe you shouldn't be playing the game. It's got the rat-a-tat boom guns and the explodey grenades in. Not good for you. Small little mind.
Is that what happened to me?
Yeah, I think so. It was the beginning of your Konami days. Ruined everything.
This game made by Konami. I must be alright.
I did actually ask the community for some PS2 memories this week. I thought maybe we could run through a few of those now.
Do it.
No, you're all right.
Yeah.
No.
Jonathan
foot
Weaver, he says, apologies for the long post. He says, the PlayStation 2 was the very first console I bought with my own money. I was 14 and I remember a friend of mine down the street was having a yard sale with his dad. He had a PS2 with around 40 games, 6 to 7 memory cards and a bunch of controllers all sitting in a box by their table. He didn't know what he wanted for it, so it offered him 40 fully grown deer. That day I walked home with the first games console I didn't have to share with my siblings. I played a ton of Burnout 3 Take, my favourite of the series, GTA San Andreas, a lot of Def Jam Fight for New York, and a good bit of DJ Hero until I somehow lost the DJ board. Of my endless backlog, Silent Hill Origins is a PS2 game that comes to mind that I will play during this year of perfect vision. PS2 will always have a special place in my heart. I can't believe it's already 20. I'm a little confused.
So
Wasn't
cool.
DJ Hero PS3?
I think it kind of straddled systems, like Guitar Hero did.
Was the PS2 as extremely hard to find in the UK when it first came out as it was here in the States?
Not a clue, mate. I was a kid.
Oh god,
Yeah, I'm not sure because I didn't get it. We didn't get it near release. It'd been out for a little while before we got one.
I just remember my buddy and I were the only two in our grade level that were actually able to get one right around release time, and it was extremely difficult to find, and then even harder to actually find games for it at the time too. So,
Do you want me to read the next one, Mike?
Yeah, go ahead.
Shannon McIntosh says, PS2 came out during a time when I just wasn't too into gaming. I bought it mainly as my first DVD player, brand new at a flea market at a We Both Know This stolen price. My main two memories were playing GTA 3 and being amazed at how much there was to do in the game, and Final Fantasy X because I'd never seen a game look so good before. I have love for the system, but I don't cherish it like the others.
oh Dan, how good was Final Fantasy X when you first saw that?
Like, mind-blowing. Just to hear characters with voices.
And to
How
see
cool is that?
Titus coming out of the water, just love it.
And then he started laughing and it all went downhill.
Oh, yeah, we're still in the infancy of this.
Do you guys remember?
I have a very fond memory of GTA 3 as well. I got all of the hidden packages on GTA 3, and I used a map, which I had from a PlayStation magazine, to find them all. And I had to cross them off as I went. And I got to 99, and one was missing.
That's how I was with GTA San Andreas. It's just crazy.
And I had to go through them all again. And finally, there it was, on top of a bridge. Bear in mind, this magazine didn't show you screenshots of where they were, just give you the general area. So I don't even know how long I spent looking for them, but my God, it is ingrained in my mind, and I cannot tell you how excited I was to see that hidden package on top of that bridge.
Jesus. Do you remember seeing GTA 3 for the first time? Like, because obviously we'd only ever had the top-down GTAs from the PlayStation 1. And, like, getting that fully fledged 3D city. I mean, it looks like trash now if you go back and look at it.
I recall vividly sitting at school just fantasizing about going home and playing that and just exploring the city and not doing anything but just dicking around and crashing cars and running people over. And going back to it now, it's really not that big of a place.
And thus the Eric Peterson life mantra was born.
Yeah.
This next listener...
I'll get the next one.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Comes from Hesley Hadi. I hope I'm saying that right. Greetings from your one and only fan from Southeast Asia. I'm on episode 184 and will give a proper introduction after I've caught up. The PS2 is the most popular console here due to piracy. Every PS2 sold here is already pre-installed with a mod chip, which makes finding legit games hard. And every game store sold a game for $2 each, which makes it easy to switch games after you're bored. My fond memories playing Zone of the Endors, just for Metal Gear Solid 2.
They may or may not be indoors.
Playing Metal Gear Solid 2 to completion in one sitting, and watching my brother play Dark Cloud 2 for months and months. Happy birthday, PS2. Keep up the good work, guys. So speaking of Dark Cloud 2, my memories of Dark Cloud 1 and 2 are probably some of my most fond PS2 memories. When Dark Cloud 1 came out, I was still living with my dad and my stepmom, and I had the entire basement to myself, and I had my big 27-inch TV and a recliner downstairs. And
oh God, huge, massive.
Oh, if back then that was colossal.
I know, right? Isn't it amazing? Just to think that you used to be grouped watching the tiniest TV in your living room.
It was actually
like,
that.
How did that
it was
even
that TV
happen?
right there in my basement, and I would kick out the recliner and lay on my stomach on the recliner, and I made a huge bowl of popcorn, and I would play Dark Cloud from like 10:30 at night till 5 in the morning every night.
Never finish it.
No, I didn't. Played the shit out of it, but I just dicked around and was building the towns. But then Dark Cloud 2, I rented so many consecutive times that I probably could have just purchased it for a hell of a lot cheaper.
Probably. You know, logic back in those days. Could I just say, by the way, how amazing it is that we have a fan in Southeast Asia?
Yeah.
Like, how has that happened?
Apparently,
so
according
much
to
for
our
listening.
analytics, we have some listeners in some part of South Africa, and someone in Eastern Europe. So we have people everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now
We're going to take over the world.
Yeah, we are the coronavirus.
Mark Marcheshi, that's a gigantic topic to cover. I would say it meant so much to me being the main console of my high school years. From games my brother I enjoyed so much like GTA 3 to playing Time Splitters, getting to know my still best friend, to playing old PS1 RPGs on it since my PS1 broke. It truly is my favourite console of all.
I love Time Splitters.
Yeah. I wish they'd come back
I can't believe
with
that
it.
series is dead. Like, that is one that should just be brought back. With modern online capabilities, Time Splitters would be a blast.
Yeah, it would.
Just something we took for granted back then as well was the fact that it was just backwards compatible, like completely. PS1.
Yep.
It's crazy. And I think, looking back, was this the first time where a console followed up another console and just basically had the same controller? Like, you picked up a PS2 controller on day one and you're like, I know what to do with this.
Yep. Probably.
And Sony have kind of done that from the start, really. I mean, sure, the DualShock 4 is a complete different evolution of the original PlayStation 1 controller. But
Yeah, but it's more of a form factor evolution.
yeah.
It's still recognizable. They haven't changed it, and apart from remember when they first announced the PS3 and it came with those banana-shaped boomerang ones? Thank God they didn't release them, eh?
Oh, man, whose idea was that? Jesus Christ.
Elliot Hughes says, playing Area 51 and James Bond with neighbours as kids.
Not any that I'm familiar with.
Tori Wolford, the PS2 will always be special to me as it was my first non-handheld home console. Endless hours of fun, entertainment. The big hitters for me: Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, GTA 3, Splinter Cell, Guitar Hero. Man, it's hard to list all my favorites. Still have my original PS2 and works flawlessly.
We have got quite a few of these, so we are going to have to skip some of these, I think.
Dark Alliance 2, Dalton Summit points that out.
I knew that
Champions
one
of
to keep you
Nora.
happy.
Oh, Scott and I have so many memories of playing Dark Alliance, Champions of North, and then I have put far more time into the online components of SOCOM 1, 2, and 3 than I care to admit to.
Santos Lopez mentions Kingdom Hearts and things like Seek and Destroy with his daughter, GTA Vice City with Miami Vice music.
Jordan Loffrey
He said
is
it's
all
his
about
favourite
Champions
console,
Return
only the
Arms,
C64
Crystal.
computer reigns above it.
Eric, sorry. I just called Eric Crystal. Why did I do that? I'm going through the same thing he is.
Do I look like her?
No.
Damn.
Which is a shame because I like you.
Oh.
Nicholas Shane Cook, Dave Mirra, Freestyle BMX 2.
Oh man, I love that game. Freestyle Metal X too. That dirt bike style game.
What about BMX Triple X?
BMXXX. How about Playboy the Mansion?
I didn't realize that was a thing. There was a copy of BMXXX in the CEX in Lincoln that was always there, and every time me and Hazel went in, she was like, "Is it still there? Is it still there? We need to buy it. We need to buy it. Is it still there?" Every now and again, she just says to me, she'll turn to me, "Do you think that copy of BMXXX is still in CEX?"
That game sucked.
Yeah,
PS2.
Do you think we should read all of Stephanie's one out?
No, she wrote a novel.
Because that is interesting. Oh, but I think we need to read all of Zach's out.
2 paragraphs.
For Stephanie? Yeah. Oh, Zach wrote an even longer one. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Zach's-
I didn't see that Zach's was in the middle
we need to read
there.
Zach's out, though, because Zach's is hilarious.
That's a long thing to read.
It is hilarious, though.
Yeah,
it's
but
too bad he's not here
hours.
to...
Let's not read that.
Okay. Basically, the very, 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 very abridged version involves Zach going into a store where he had the PS2 pre-ordered, and there was loads of people who weren't getting one, and he had to somehow run out with his PS2 without someone taking it off him.
He had
It is
an arsenal
hilarious.
of piss sauce rags which he was chucking at people to blind them as he was going outside to get rid of them.
And the very abridged version of Stephanie's comment is she's isolated due to the coronavirus at the moment, so she's making all of her PS2 memories as we speak.
Is she really?
So good luck with that. Yeah.
Yeah, she missed it in the past, and she's had one for ages, but she's never played it, so she's dug it out of storage and is now enjoying loads of old games.
Yeah.
Such as
so she's
Dark
the
Alliance.
end of her comment is Dark Alliance.
Yes, which is coming up on the show pretty soon.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and Metal Gear Solid 3. Snake Eater.
But yeah, if you aren't
singing
part
from
of
Mike on that episode.
You always get loads of singing from me.
Yeah, but particularly Snake Eater, you like that one.
But yeah, I recommend anybody to go and join our community, or if you're part of the community, go and find my PS2 question thread and just read Zach's novel. We all know he has a way of telling a tale, and this is definitely one.
He does paint quite the picture, doesn't he?
It is unfortunately a bit long to read out on the show. So,
guys, I've been twitching for the past 2 hours to get to this. We need to get on to the game of the week because
you don't need to shit again while you're recording, do you?
No, I cut a hole in the bottom of my computer chair and just put a bucket under there.
Good idea.
Yeah, we just go.
Is that what those plop sounds were? Yeah. Go on in, Eric. What is it? What did we play?
Oh, this week. To be fair, we are 200 episodes in, and we've played very few of these games. So
I think you'll find you forced me to play about 6 of them for an episode once.
I didn't force you to. I just strongly encouraged. Okay, I forced you.
You did force me.
This week, we are delving into the world of Mega Man Zero.
Superman.
No, this one's definitely Mega Man.
Yeah,
it's definitely.
That's a shame because you'd rather be Super than Mega.
Can I change that? Can I change that answer?
Never.
You're never living that down.
Nope. Eric. Nope, I'm not. I am not. Mega Man Zero for the Game Boy Advance. A series that I unfortunately did not play in its time. Not particularly sure why I didn't. But
I'm getting an answer, and it begins with an I, and it ends with T.
In it?
It's idiot.
Oh. No, it came out April 26, 2002, and it also just came out February 25th, 2020 for the Mega Man Zero ZX Legacy Collection, which I also picked up. This game is a rather stark departure from the traditional style of Mega Man games, and after playing through it... Go ahead.
I was going to say, as a person who's not really touched Mega Man before, I have very, very briefly touched the first Mega Person game, and I've played this one now.
Okay, you have a very poor cross-section.
What are the major differences besides the whole choosing your level and getting the boss's abilities and stuff? Because obviously I know that.
Nothing, Mike. It's exactly the same.
So traditional Mega Man game is you have your little opening, well, not even in the early games, but you have your 8 robot masters. You go into those worlds, you attack them, you get their power, move on to the next one. You kind of do this rock, paper, scissors thing. Mega Man Zero is different in that you have sort of this home base, and you are sent off on missions. The major difference is that with this game, you have a finite number of lives, and if you expend all of those lives, it's game over. And if you do that in the middle of a mission and you continue playing without reloading your game save, you lose the ability to do that mission ever again. So you can just...
Oh, so I could have fucking skipped this, like some of these levels.
Yes, you could have.
What happens if you do that?
To give a bit of clarity, right, Eric said to me before this, I recommend using a guide, Cyber Elf Guide, and researching what you need to do because you'll need to level them up for the last boss. And I said to Eric, my response was, we are playing an Eric Peterson game. I am going to play this the Eric Peterson way. I'm going to be completely ignorant of everything and not learn a thing as I play through.
How'd that work out for you?
All right.
Yeah? See, it's not a bad way to play. But no, you brought up a good point there. One of the major differences in this, and the reason that you don't want to die and skip those missions, is that within each of these levels, there are these little glowy fairy things that you can pick up called cyber elves. And those are...
Wait, no. They're not cyber elves. They're annoyingly cyber elves.
True, yes.
This game is
Which
full of
really irritated me
Mike.
the entire time.
Did anybody not get irritated by the save screen where she said, "What's now?"
Where she said
That's
what?
all she said, "What's now?" And then it gives you the option to save. That's what it says.
Oh, I never picked up on that.
It's not mine.
I just clicked through it.
I was using save states, so I never used the in-game saving system. So,
right, these stupid cyber elves, right? So I had to ask you when I was about
Cyber
halfway through the game. Cyber elves. Sorry, Mike. Well, I had to ask you how they work because it doesn't at any point tell you what the hell they're for.
No, it doesn't.
I found going through, you get nowhere near enough energy crystals to use any of them.
No, and that's one of the big complaints about this is that here's what the cyber elves are. They are little
spelled wrong.
They are pieces of robotic code that you can download into Zero for additional perks and bonuses. They have level 1, level 2, level 3. When you go into the transporter, which is a goofy pun, it's trance. You go into this transporter, but it's also a transporter that transports you. Get it? Yeah. See what they did? But you can download these. So you can download these cyber elves into your core. You can hold 3 at a time. And the level 1.
Wait, I still don't get it.
I'll explain it to you later.
All right.
The level 1s are small. They can be used immediately, and they are all single use. And they are sentient beings that when you utilize them, you basically murder them to make yourself better. So there are 3 categories. You have your health.
Hang on, you have to use them.
Yes.
How?
You press start while you're playing and go to the elf section and select it and utilize it. So you can have some that will either recharge your vitality. They will.
You just equip them.
Yeah,
yes.
But then you have to physically
you have
utilize
3 on
them.
the main screen.
When you're playing the game through the level, you press start, go to elf, and select the one you want to use. So if you're running low on health, you can utilize one of the red elves, and it'll recharge
if you're
your
running
health.
low on elf.
Well, this would have made the game easier.
Then there are some where you can, where if you equip it for the duration of that level, if you fall into a pit, it'll pull you out of the pit or reduce damage or reduce the boss's damage. But then there are additional ones where you can feed these cyber elves energy crystals. And by doing that, and they take ridiculous amounts of energy crystals to level up. And this is how, if you recall from playing Mega Man X, where you can get these different power armor upgrades for your helmet, your legs, whatever. They don't have that in this. Yeah, I know you didn't play it. But anyway, in the X series, you go through, you can find these hidden locations and get upgrades to your armor. You don't have that here. Here you have to get the elves to feed them, upgrade them, and then murder them to increase your permanent health. So you'll get like a secondary health bar.
So why didn't they call this Murder Man Zero?
Well, if you know anything about Zero, he is kind of a dick. But to that in a second.
Look at that stupid ponytail he's got. What's that about?
Oh, dude, he's fucking like straight Southern mullet there. So you can get additional damage. You can reduce the amount of damage taken. You can increase your walking speed. You can decrease how slow or how fast you get on the wall, how quickly you jump. But you have to feed these elves. And like Dan said, they'd give you nowhere near enough. So I knew to get to the end of this and beat it, I wanted to have additional damage, additional defense, and that additional health bar. So when you're at the base, you can branch out.
The health is pointless in this anyway. Like, you face a boss, and what's the point of having like 20 individual bars of health when one hit from a boss takes 14 off you at a time?
Well, and that's where this game that's where this game sets itself apart. Is it's extremely difficult. Where most of the most of the other Mega Man games, you and the boss have very similar levels of health. This one, every boss has a minimum of 2 to 4 health bars. So like a full bar that's 3 times as large as yours, and you have to deplete it 4 times to beat them.
And
but
really difficult attacks to avoid as well. Like,
however,
really difficult.
We're jumping ahead here, but to that point, once you learn their attack patterns, they're really easy to exploit. It's just, can you do that for a sustained period of time?
With save states, yes.
Yeah. So
Well, some of them have
no.
fucking timers. That's the other thing. Like, they have so much
I
health. and you can
never
only
ran
take
out
off
of
certain
time. Not once.
Two of them. So the first one, where is it like that Aztec burb? Where you,
It depends
like,
on what
above-
order you go in.
Well, I was just doing in the missions in the order that came up. But there was that like Aztec burb. Underneath was the people who were going to die. There was the spikes, and at a time, because otherwise they were going to get crushed to death. And it took me like 3 attempts because I kept running out of time.
I never ran out of time.
I went through a real experience with this game. I hated it to start with because of the difficulty. But as you go on, I found it better and better, actually. I mean, I didn't even use the cyber elf, so God knows how I got through it. But
yeah. Well, and that's kind of the pull of a Mega Man game, though, is at the very beginning, it's extremely difficult. Look at Mega Man 11, where you just kind of have to brute force your way into that rock, paper, scissors cycle. And this is exactly like that. You're just thrown into it. And until you can beat the first boss and get yourself one of those elements. So, and that's the other thing, too. Were you switching between your elemental attacks? Between lightning, fire, and ice?
yeah, that's different as well, because obviously on the old Mega Mans, you get the boss's weapon. And on this one, it just gives you these elements which you can swap to at any time. But I discovered going forward that most bosses have a weakness to one of these elements.
Mm-hmm.
So you just kind of have to figure that out. And once you figure that out, you can genuinely beat them quite easily.
So, and the other thing that you can do too, and the game does have a little bit of a heavy reliance on grinding, is when you're in the base, you can branch out to each of those worlds that you go to for the missions and just explore and attack enemies and level yourself up. So you have...
Oh, really?
I
didn't know that.
So if you go up to the top of the base and go out to the left, you can go to the desert level and just farm enemies. Or if you can go to the right, you can go or down, you can go to the laboratory. The best place to farm for energy crystals is before you do the mission where you fight the elephant and then you have to run out of the laboratory when it closes down, because in there's a little a spider spawning enemy that just fires out like 30, 40 spiders at once, and they all drop energy crystals. So you just sit there and hack with your sword, and you accomplish 2 goals. You level up your sword, and by leveling it up, you can do like a double attack, a triple attack. You can charge your sword, then you can charge your sword to a secondary level. Same with
You
your...
can do a flip move as well, which is really cool.
Yeah.
When you jump.
Same thing with your gun as well. You can have 3 bullets on screen at once, 4 or 5. You can charge to a second degree, and then you get your triple rod spear. So if you go and you just farm that area, unfortunately, I didn't think about farming until after I'd closed that off. So I had to just go to the desert and run around and attack the snakes that pop up out of the ground. But leveling up your weapons and feeding the cyber elves are a massive part of grinding for this, and that's where a little bit of the annoyance factor comes in, because I probably spent 3 hours just grinding to get up enough to feed all the cyber elves. And the thing that sucks about it, though, too, is that once you do a mission and complete it, you lose the ability to go back and collect any of the hidden cyber elves. So within each mission, there are different enemies, and a cyber elf will appear once you've killed a certain number of that enemy, plus a certain number of the next enemy, and then a certain number of the next. And then there's usually a hidden larger cyber elf somewhere within the level. And once you beat the mission, they're gone. You can't go back and get them.
No, I wasn't ready for any of that. I didn't realize you could do any of this. I
Yeah.
was just doing the missions as it went.
They were
Literally, the
just
only
there.
time I explored the base was at the very, very beginning, which I'd like to bring up. The very beginning, there's a character called, I pronounce it as Ciel, C-I-E-L. Yeah? You have to talk to her. Now,
Mike had
I
to look
thought before talking to her, I had a little wander around the base, right? A little wander, just there I was. Got my little blaster with me. I'm going to take a little wander around this base, see what there is. Oh, there's a machine there I can do stuff with. Okay, oh, there's guys here. People dotted around. How do we speak to them? Okay. So to speak to these people, I literally stand. So it's a 2D game, literally like standing as if you're like in front of the character. Like, not as in stood in front of them, as in, like, adjacent to them. I mean, like, over the character. Press up. Worked a treat. They gave me their little dialogue box. I read it. I went along my merry little way. Got to a final point. I should probably do some of these missions. I could talk to that seal lass. Go up the elevator. Wander along to her. Go over her, like I did all the other characters. Pressed up. Nothing. Oh. Well, how the fuck do I talk to her? Tried the A button. No, nothing. B, nothing. L, R, no. Okay. Nothing. Couldn't do anything. Went wandering around the base to see if there's anything I missed. Went on the elevator. I went up. I went down. Had a little wander around. Spoke to some other people. No, definitely have to speak to her. I had to look up on a fucking guide how to talk to this girl. There is a very, 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 very specific point. A few pixels in front of her that you have to be in to press up. And annoyingly, there's also a ladder there. So if you're not in the exact right point, he will just go up the ladder. What is the difference with this girl that I have to be in this exact position to talk to her?
I'm sorry you struggled with that.
Right. But then, well, I told you I was playing it the Peterson way. So the
you had
best
a
thing was,
blast
though,
and loved it, and it became your favorite franchise ever?
the best thing was, though, that when I did Google this, I just Googled how to talk to Seal, Mega Man Zero. I was not the only person to struggle with this because it was on a message board that I got the answer. So thank you very much.
If there's a stupid question you've got about a game, chances are somebody else has done the same thing, I find in my experience.
Yeah.
But to quote a good friend of mine, but why?
But why?
Oh,
and another friend,
nice.
Skip! But yeah, so one of the other difficult factors of this game too is that there are no checkpoints, save points within the levels. So if you die on the boss, well, you can't. Okay, so the remake,
shite again.
The remake has the checkpoints, or the Zero Collection has those little checkpoints.
So does the Game Boy Advance version.
But if you die in the Zero Collection, and you just go back to that checkpoint infinite times. So you can't just die at the boss and then come back in, die at the boss, come back in. You have to reload your game save. So you have to be very meticulous about how many times you're saving. Every time you go into a boss or into a level, save your mission, because if you die, you want to make sure that you have a large number of lives stocked up for the end of the game. And free guys aren't anything that you can just farm within the levels by shooting enemies. Original Mega Man games, you could just sit and they would have like a random drop rate of extra lives. There were a few levels where you could collect a couple free guys within and then just kill yourself, come back, and just infinitely collect up. And I think you can only store up to 9 lives at once. But yeah, having to reload to just continually do those missions over and over added to a little bit of the difficulty factor on it.
Well, I mean, the levels themselves, they weren't particularly long, I noticed. And I didn't really get frustrated with the levels themselves. I mean, like I said, my only experience of Mega Man is this Mega Man 1. And like you said, not a good cross-section. But I remember attempting Mega Man 1, and I remember just thinking, this is unfair. Every single like enemy placement and everything like that is just unfair. The way he moves, unfair. Which I'm told is a common opinion of Mega Man 1. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Eric. But the levels themselves, they weren't too bad. I felt constantly restricted by Mega Man's moveset because this, for when this came out, what was this,
2002.
2002. For a shooter platformer like this, I know this is kind of a running joke from Dan, but to not be able to aim up.
You can if you have the triple rod.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, but that's a stick. You can't shoot it.
Oh, dude, the triple rod is insanely good.
Is it shite? The best weapon in the game's the saber.
Did you upgrade the triple rod to full capacity?
No, the triple rod shite.
No, so it's shit when you stab it the first time, but as you upgrade it, it'll do...
That's no good then. I want a good weapon. I don't want to use a shit one.
Oh my god, you're so difficult. So as you upgrade it, it'll do...
Oh god, pot! That's the kettle calling. Jesus Christ.
As you upgrade it, it has a further reach. It gains more power. So you can stab through multiple enemies. Granted, you're right. The saber is still the best.
Why is it called the triple rod? There's just one.
Because you can upgrade it to attacking like through 3 enemies.
So shouldn't it be called the single rod until it's
Shut up.
Or just the rod. But further to that, not just the shooting upwards, the biggest restriction I felt on this, that he does not crouch. And I think for a game of this style being released in this day and age, and when it is technically an offshoot of Mega Man, because I think, does Mega Man crouch normally?
He can do a little slide maneuver.
Yeah. For the time this came out to not be able to crouch, and also Mega Man Zero's sprite on this game, it's quite big.
Yeah.
In my opinion. So you do not have a lot of room around you.
It's not the only Mega Man that's big.
To move and maneuver. And I felt so restricted the amount of times I lost life. And yeah, it's on me because I should remember how to control this game and the fact that he doesn't crouch. But it just, I don't know, like it irritated me.
I disagree. I felt like this game handled fantastically. Maybe it's because I've spent so much time playing 20XX and really grew to like the whole saber mechanic, because there aren't many Mega Man games where you actually get to play as Zero, and even when you do, I always just wanted to play as Mega Man, so actually only having to play as Zero and force myself to understand his moveset, and I would say I utilized the saber way more than I utilized the gun. But being able to constantly be dashing, and once you get your saber upgraded to when you do the flip maneuvers and the attacks, you can dash and then attack an enemy in the air and then hit another person as you're coming down and immediately switch back. I found it very fast-paced and extremely satisfying in all aspects of the combat.
See, do you know what? I booted up randomly for 10 minutes alongside playing this. Randomly for 10 minutes. No. Well, yeah, maybe, but not on my Vita. I booted up randomly RoboCop versus the Terminator for Sega Mega Drive, because I remember renting it when I was a kid. I was like, I'll play a little bit of that for 10 minutes. And do you know what RoboCop can do? He can crouch. He can shoot in 8 different directions.
Oh, boy.
Right? Have you seen that RoboCop film? Have you seen how fucked up Alex Murphy gets before he becomes RoboCop? And he can do that. Why can't Mega Man Zero?
Listen, Dr. Light and Dr. Wily were the father of robotics, and they were just figuring shit out at the time.
What, they didn't give him knees?
They didn't give him elbows or shoulders.
Just you know
straight legs with no hinges.
RoboCop versus the Terminator was released in 1994 for the Mega Drive.
I think this is going to be a thing, Eric.
You know what? Every time I hear somebody say RoboCop, I think of this meme.
What, you up a screen?
Is it the boat? Yeah, I knew it was going to be the boat.
Rowboat Cop.
Pad man, pad boat, or cop.
The future of water-based law enforcement. maybe he's after Tom, his latest victim.
All right, so I feel like it's important to give a little bit of backstory to what's happening and why this is an important section of the game. And the Mega Man timeline is extremely complex. It's not just Dr. Wily versus Dr. Light and a bunch of eight robot masters, but kind of the overarching concept of it is that at the end of the original Mega Man games, Dr. Light creates X with a message for future generations about
who is X?
Mega Man X.
Oh, okay, right. I'm just double checking.
Yeah, so he's the second one in the
Mega
series.
Man, but with an extra letter.
Yes.
Okay.
But around that same time,
did they do Mega Man A through Y?
No, because it takes
All
place
right,
in 20.
I'm opening up the alphabetical section of the joke book again, and man, for God's sake.
I fucked up anyway because V is before that. Anyway,
W's before.
W even, sorry. Yeah, W as well. But, you get the idea.
I get it. But, yeah, so the first Mega Man
Edit
series
that joke,
games...
Eric. Edit that joke so it's funny.
You got it. The first Mega Man series games takes place in 20XX, and then the X games take place in 21XX. But right after Dr. Light creates Mega Man X and leaves his message, Dr. Wily created Zero. So Zero is...
See, what I'm more interested is why did we start using letters instead of numbers to do the years?
I don't know.
Did they run out of numbers?
I don't know.
Surely the numbers just keep going up.
I mean, that's just going to get confusing when the years change.
Yeah.
Just leave it up to your interpretation. But anyway...
I mean, it's difficult to keep up as it is. I mean, every single day they change the date.
The important thing to
I'm
note.
pretty sure in RoboCop versus Terminator on the Sega Mega Drive, they had the right date, right, Mike?
Yeah, I bet they did. Yeah.
Like, none of this 20XX shite.
Fuck you guys.
Do you know what? His gun went into his leg when he wasn't using it. How cool is that?
He'd have space in his leg. He hasn't got any knees. He could put it in there.
Anyway, go on, Eric. 20XX.
So the important
What
thing to
about
note.
20X hamster?
We've peaked.
Can we contact them about a sponsorship already? Like, seriously.
Oh god. Put an advertisement.
Fair, no, right. We are probably the target audience. You know, like, right, you know when you're on a porn site and they're giving you, I mean, I've never visited one, obviously, but you know when you're on there and, like, you're watching porn.
You've never visited one.
Yeah. But you know when you're on there, which I've definitely never done, right?
Yeah,
You're watching
yeah.
porn. You've clicked on a porn video, and what is the advert? Is the advert is for porn? Well, I'm already watching porn, so right. So surely we're the perfect demographic. Oh, I'm watching some porn. Oh, it's an advert for something else that's about video games. Oh, yeah. Well, I'll probably watch that. I can watch that after I've watched the porn.
I don't know if I want them to.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, why would you just advertise more porn when you're watching porn already? Doesn't make any sense. Anyway, carry on.
Anyway, carry on. So Dr. Wily is the one who created Zero. He was not created by Dr. Light, so he's technically on the evil end of the spectrum. 21XX, Dr. Kane finds...
Spectrum ZX.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Is that what the
that's
Z
not
and the
been
X is
delayed.
of Mega Man for the ZX Spectrum?
I don't know.
Where does Superman come into all this? Is there a Superman X?
Thanks for listening. That's the show for this week.
I'm sure listeners are probably getting annoyed with me, so we'll actually carry on. I'll try not to interrupt.
But no, so Dr. Wily created Zero. He had a defect in his code, so he sealed him away. And Dr. Light sealed Mega Man X away for future generations. 21XX, Dr. Kane finds Mega Man X in the ruins of Dr. Light's laboratory, revives him, and that's when robotics takes the next step into Reploids being created, and Reploids are more sentient, human-like robots that have free will and are independent. However, that's when the Maverick occurrences start, and that's what takes place throughout the entire Mega Man X series is a Maverick is a Reploid who has gone against its code, and it is performing criminal acts.
And he flies a big jet.
No.
Top Gun reference, Eric.
I got it.
By the way, Nan, to answer your question, Superman X was a clone of Superman created in the 41st century to fight Imperiex. To eliminate his primary weakness, the clone's DNA was spliced with kryptonite, not only making him immune to kryptonite radiation, but giving him new powers that Superman didn't have.
Thanks, Mike. I didn't really care. It was just a joke.
Oh, okay. But have you noticed there, they went to the 41st century, not 40X century.
Well, there's 99 years in there. Just there's room for interpretation. Okay, so back to this. The Maverick occurrences start. So they create a series of hunters called the Maverick Hunters with a guy named Sigma as the leader. Sigma finds Dr. Wily's laboratory and finds Zero. But by opening Zero's container, he becomes infected with the virus that Zero had, and Sigma himself becomes a Maverick and starts the Maverick Wars. There goes Mega Man X through X8. And this is where things get really convoluted because then you start having the creation.
This is where it gets convoluted.
Yeah. So this is where...
oh, yeah, I'm following it really well so far.
So Mega Man Zero that...
I mean, it doesn't help when you got Mike Tyson spouting shit every 2 minutes.
Exactly. So there's a scientist who examines Zero's mind and creates this mother elf. And Mega Man X and Zero they kind of always have this little bit of a rivalry, but they create Cyber Elf, which allows X to put an end to the Maverick Wars. And then Dr. Wile uses Zero's body to create Omega. bunch of random shit happens. X wants to create this place called Neo Arcadia, which is a location for Reploids to go and live in peace without fear of being retired. The Elf Wars happen, and Zero at some point is thrown into stasis, fired off into space.
Oh God, here comes Legolas.
And my bow.
All right, Galadriel.
So Zero goes into stasis, off into space, because he is he's basically a harbinger of destruction. Anytime he's around, shit just starts to fall apart just due to his nature.
Like my will to live.
Yes. So X finds Neo Arcadia. Dark Elf is somehow created as a result of some shit that happens. Mega Man X uses his body to seal Dark Elf away, and he himself then becomes a Cyber Elf. And if you notice at the beginning of Mega Man Zero, the real X is the Cyber Elf who gives you the saber to fight that first boss.
I did not notice this.
So that is actual X.
It tells you at the end of the game.
Yeah.
It's the ending.
Oh, so Mega Man X is not Mega Man.
No, he's Mega Man
No,
X.
he's a different version of Mega Man.
Anyway,
Oh.
so
Why didn't they just
once
give him a
this
different
Zero
happens,
is not Mega Man either.
once this
No, I knew Mega Man
happens,
Zero wasn't, because they were calling him Zero all throughout the game.
yeah, his name's
Mega
not
Man.
Mega Man Zero. It's just Zero
Then why is the game called Mega Man
because
Zero?
it's in the Mega Man universe. Follow me here.
I can't, mate. I'm lost.
After
But why is it not? Okay, then why is it not Mega Man :0?
I don't know. I didn't make the games.
Says the
See,
man
I
who
didn't even know
blames us
Mega
for
Man
the
X was a
English
different
language.
Mega Man. I thought it was just like,
No, I'm trying to
You-
give you some history here. Pay attention.
why is he
How
now
do
an
you know
elf?
this?
He's not an elf. He's a cyber elf.
Why is there
So
a dark
Why
elf?
doesn't he use a bow and arrow?
why doesn't he have pointy ears? I don't know. So X
Why are
seals
there
away
elves
Dark
and not
Elf,
elves?
and his soul is separated from his body. The 4 Guardians are created, who we end
He's
up
a
fighting.
robot. How does he have a soul?
That's the whole thing, is Dr. Light creating robots that have souls that are sentient. Are they human? He's bridging that gap between human and robot.
Robots that have our souls, more like.
Anyway, the 4 Guardians are created to protect Neo Arcadia. CL uses the code from Mega Man X to create Copy X. Okay? You with me so far? It's a copy of Mega Man X using his code in a new body. However,
Copy
photocopy.
machine gets wielded and starts shooting shit.
these Reploids are starting to consume vast amounts of energy and creating this energy crisis. So Copy X goes rogue and starts disposing of innocent Reploids. Hence, CL forms the resistance, but they can't stand up against Neo Arcadia. So CL decides there's only one way to solve this. We need to look for Zero. And that's where the beginning of Mega Man Zero starts, is they find Zero back in stasis. Get it?
So hang on, Mega Man copy Mega Man is probably a good guy because he's stopping them from wasting all the energy and shit. But we're the bad guys and have to kill him.
But he's a copy.
But he's an eco warrior. He's like Barrett.
But he's
Yeah, but he can't be an eco warrior because surely he's wasting paper by doing copies.
Everybody at the Resistance base
God.
thinks that Zero is a myth,
My life.
which is why when you come into the
What even is
base,
this anymore?
when you come into the base, everybody's really shocked to see you. But this is Mega Man Zero in a replica body because his real body was fired off into space and eventually found and turned into
That's
a
when we get
villain.
Mega Man 02, The Search for Spock.
Close, but you become a villain called Omega, who is actually Zero's original body being used by another villain called Wheel.
What?
Told you it's not easy to understand.
But Omega is not Mega Man, even though he's got Mega in the name.
Yeah, he's Omega.
How do you know this?
Thing is, right, Eric.
What?
Right. One, I barely listened to a word you've just said. But
I know you're too busy making stupid jokes.
2, you give Kingdom Hearts a lot of shit for its plot.
No, so here's Mega Man in a nutshell. Dr. Light.
I'm not going through this again.
Listen. Dr. Light, Dr. Wily are creating
this great big bloody nutshell.
Dr. Wily, Dr. Light worked together at the Robotics Institute. They wanted to create the future of robotics. Dr. Wily was pushed aside. Dr. Light's robotics became the father. He became the father of robotics. Mega Man 1 happens because Wily got pissed off. He went off, created this virus to have all of Dr. Light's robots revolt. Then Light creates X, then the Maverick Wars, then the Elf Wars, and now here we are with Zero. How hard is that?
What?
So that's where this game begins. CL finds Zero. You're here to fight against Copy X, who at the time you actually think, before you know it's Copy X, you think it's the real Mega Man X, which is kind of shocking at the beginning of the game because they say, yeah, X is in Neo Arcadia killing people because he was this hero of the entire X series who has this conscience. And that's why Mega Man X is a B-class hunter and Zero...
I'm so lost.
Zero
a B-class hunter of what?
Mavericks. Because he has a conscience.
Right. Are they the robots that had knees so they could crouch and he was jealous?
He has a conscience. Zero does not. Zero does not hesitate. That's why he fired himself off into space, because he caused too much damage and destruction during the Maverick Wars and said, fuck this, I'm out.
So is Zero actually a bad guy?
Technically, he was until he saw the errors of his ways, and now he's back.
What happened? So what I'm guessing happened was he was carrying something like, oh no, he was carrying like a Scotch egg that he was really looking forward to, right? Scotch egg being a round food item easily rolls. So he was there carrying it, rolls out of his hand onto the floor, realizes he can't crouch down, so he can't eat the Scotch egg, gets angry and is like, that's it, I'm going to destroy the world.
I don't think that's right.
I like it. Makes more sense than what he just said.
Exactly, there you go. But then what he should have done is waited for the original Mega Man to come along, slide next to the Scotch egg. I don't know why I went scouse when I said slide. 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 Right? Slide. Kick the Scotch egg up, and then Zero could have caught it. And then basically we wouldn't have had to listen to all this.
Yeah, but it was interesting, wasn't it?
I mean, I don't have a clue what you said, so...
Well, listen back to the show and you'll
This
understand.
is good. I was going to say, when I inevitably listen back to the show to check it for errors and stuff like that, it's going to be a very interesting listen.
It'll be like an entire bit that you just haven't heard.
Yeah.
And that's it gets really deep when you start looking into the actual occurrences of all the X games and then what took place during the Elf Wars.
Mate, it's got pretty deep already, I'm not going to lie. Let's not go deeper.
The creation of Mother Elf and the Dark Elf and all this other shit. Dude, it's crazy what's going on. But anyway.
For a side-scrolling 2D game, does it need that much depth, really?
But it's the entire series. Like, this is... A lot of people think Mega Man is just, hey, 8 Robot Masters, kill them. Oh, done. No, like, there is a long, branching story that this universe... That's an incredibly deep, complex universe.
I mean, at this point, I'm beginning to think it should have been.
I needed to give you the background for the gist of the game, which was you needed to stop Mega Man X from killing innocent Reploids in Neo Arcadia, which was supposed to be a safe haven for Reploids.
Why didn't you say that?
Because you had to know...
You did. Just really long way.
Because you had to know why that was a big issue.
But why?
But why?
Oh, is he homeless as well?
Well, technically, yeah. He just
He's
wants...
going to be limited for work if he can't crouch, really, isn't he?
Yeah. That's why you create the crouching robot.
Can't bend down to pick up packages and that, so Korean logistics is out of it.
Oh, God. So, yes, you go through, you end up having to face off against the four Guardians who were created to protect Neo Arcadia. So technically you are. They don't know that it's copy X. They think that it's actual X, and they're protecting Neo Arcadia, which is what they were designed to do. So you have to force your way in by defeating them. And that is Aztec Falcon, the Anubis,
Mons Pubis.
Yes, I'm trying to remember the name of them off the top of my head here.
It
wasn't. It was Sage Hapuria, Fairy Leviathan, Fighting Fefnir, and Hidden Phantom.
Yeah, some of these boss names are stupid.
Fefnir,
Aztec Fountain, Mahagan Sharif,
Arse Biscuits, McCrack Nipples,
Pantheon Core, Guard Erotic, Anubis Necromancis III. I'm not making these up, by the way. Blizzak Stagroth.
Sounds like something Snoop Dogg came up with.
Hanu Machine, Azura
like something Snoop
Bazura,
Dogg smokes.
Herculeus Unchortus, Rainbow Devil.
Oh, I'm a Rainbow Devil.
I am not making any of these up, Dan. I will give you a link, should you wish to see.
These bosses,
right,
but
thanks.
like Dan said at the beginning, these boss fights are not easy. There was one that
Look at that crotch on that picture. Jesus Christ.
I struggled with for a good 15, 20 tries, and that was the Sage Hapuria. And I even understood the boss pattern. And it was just a matter
this one. Yeah,
of...
this is where I gave up.
It was just a matter of continuing to be able to do it enough times to get him down. And I think 3 of the 4 Guardians I beat with 1 pellet of life left.
Which one was that? The Sage
The
one?
green one that threw out the pink little spikes at you.
Oh, yeah.
And would fly
I really
and then-
struggled with that one. But if you use the shock element, you can knock her down all the time and then just spam it and jump over the first attack she does and then do it again and again and again and she dies.
Well, which is important
easy.
to make sure that you level up your Buster to the 2nd level, because then you can actually take advantage of the shock element or the ice element.
Yeah, the fast charge is essential for the bosses.
The other boss that really sucked was the one on the train where you had to what's the name of that one?
The train engine, I think.
Yeah, because then the floor would start to raise up and smash you into the ceiling.
Yeah. That was bullshit, that one.
Yeah.
What about the Egyptian one with the pillars that come out and you have to wall jump over them?
Yes.
That one I really struggled with for a long time, but then I found that you could cheese him by making him, because he would go into the left-hand side of the screen and come out with the right, so you can make him go at the left, then stand on the right and get loads of attacks in when he came out.
Yep, with your charged up saber.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the bosses.
I actually swapped the saber to my main attack rather than the special attack.
Oh, yeah.
Because I enjoyed it that much compared to the Mega Buster.
Yeah, it was fun to.
It's a lot better.
It was definitely.
See, I changed mine. I changed the set because the standard setup is to have the saber. You hold R and then press your normal attack button. I changed it so that I just had to press R for the saber. But then what I also did was I mapped the dash button because I was playing this in a perfectly legal way on Vita. I mapped the dash button to triangle as well. So I had X as jump, square as shoot, triangle as dash, and then had R as the saber.
Oh no, I kept dash as L because then you can do the dash jump off the walls.
Oh, I kept the dash on L, so it was on both buttons.
Got it.
That I could use. But that seemed to work for me because I often forgot there was a dash, if I'm honest.
Oh, I love the dash.
It's a good dash.
So there were some levels that had some really neat shortcuts through them that you really had to kind of dig for. I don't remember what the level was, but you had to go up above and then you could fight your way through the vents and you can avoid that entire section with the security lasers.
Oh yeah, I did that.
And that was one where if you knew where there was a free guy, you never really had to worry about running out of lives unless you died and then died again before you got back to that free life. So you could essentially just keep trying the bosses over and over and over, but you'd have to go through the level each time. But once you get through all of the bosses, you have to go into Neo Arcadia and you have to go through the boss rush again, which is a traditional Mega Man trope where you have to fight every single boss all over again, one after the other.
I would not have been a fan of that.
this was a particularly tough boss rush, but like you said, Dan, you can, once you know the weakness for each of the bosses, and they were pretty obvious, and they took...
I thought the boss rush was easy peasy, honestly, because I'd learned all the weaknesses.
Yeah.
Like I'd went through the experience because I played it all in one sitting as well. I could remember them all. So
well, and I was particularly concerned about doing the Sage Hapira in the boss rush again, because I struggled with that even when I knew the weakness. It's the only one that I really struggled with. The Fairy Leviathan one was ridiculously easy.
Is that the water one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was quite easy. Weirdly weak to fire.
Yeah, you'd think it'd be electricity, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But yeah, you get into Neo Arcadia and a bunch of shit starts going on. You get to the end and you discover that it's not actually the real Mega Man. It's Copy X, and you can tell it's not regular Mega Man because he has wings, and that is an extremely difficult boss battle.
Yeah, but, right, if you've seen the terribly rated film RoboCop 3, he gets a jetpack edition and can fly. And he was still the same RoboCop.
Oh, Jesus, Mike.
So how would I know he's not the proper Mega Man just because he's got wings? He could have had wings added.
I guess.
See, there's hope for Mega Man Zero. He might be able to have knees added.
That wifey who's called Seal tells you earlier on that he's a copy because she created him.
That's right. Okay. But yeah, so he utilizes all of the elements. So you need to be swapping your elements quite frequently throughout the battle. But then once you beat him, you have to immediately go on to the final form of him, which I think is one of the more unfair boss battles in a Mega Man game. So you're fighting against Mega Man or Copy X, who's kind of in the background of the map, and you're on this tiny platform in the center with two walls on either side moving up and down that you can wall jump off of, and you have to hit X. However, he utilizes this maneuver where these rings come down from the sky, and if they catch you, they pull you straight down. So if you are wall jumping off on the side and get caught by one of these rings, it just plummets you down to your death. And then you have to redo the first boss battle again, which isn't particularly easy, but you have to time everything just perfectly, because if you're on the wall, when that comes down, you need to jump down onto the ground, but then he'll fire down onto the ground, which forces you to be up on the wall. So you just have to really watch for the patterns. And it only took me about 3 times, but it's extremely difficult.
It is real tough. He's basically safe for Mega Man X, isn't he? Because he's like angelic.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a Final Fantasy VII reference, guys.
I don't know. I really liked the end of this game. And by the time I got to the end of it, I went, man, I'm really disappointed that I did not play these in their time.
What stopped you playing these at the time? I know you said earlier you're not quite sure why, but can you think of just any reason why you didn't?
I think in high school, when these came out, I was focused on other things. Like I always still played a lot of games, but I was playing more RPGs and things like that. But I don't know. I just didn't play it at that time.
I mean, if I can be serious, I know I've been quite silly during this Game of the Week section, but like to be completely serious for a moment, like this is the kind of game that I would normally love, you know, the kind of 2D running, gunning, you know, I liked the style of it. Like I thought it was cool. I liked the way the enemies looked, like the bosses looked cool as well. And
yeah,
even though I have been a bit silly with you doing the story and everything like that, the whole idea of the story behind it, you know, it is a cool concept, what I know of it and what I've heard of it from, you know, your long tirade. But, you know, the game as it presents itself seemed interesting in that front. And it wasn't necessarily the difficulty. It's just, like I said, I felt so restricted. For a game of its time, I honestly just felt so restricted, and I couldn't get past that. I didn't hate this. I didn't hate it at all. Like, I know I've kind of jokingly shit on it, but I didn't hate it. It was a good experience, but not one that I would personally be willing to finish.
It's definitely difficult. Within the pantheon of Mega Man games, I think this one is really far up there in terms of just being difficult.
Up its own arse.
So, Mike, I sent you a link that if you click into that, it takes you to a really detailed breakdown of the entire Mega Man universe. And what's really cool is that you can everything is highlighted. So if you want to click in, it's like Mega Man X events. You click into that and it gives you a breakdown of all of those events, and just you can kind of fall down this rabbit hole if you want to. I know you don't want to, but it gives you a really detailed view into the universe of Mega Man.
Yeah, but
how many Mega Person Zero games are there?
4. And then there's the ZX and then ZX Advent.
Yeah, but Eric,
What?
you should check out this link.
Is it X Hamster? Because it's already up.
No, it's a picture of Link.
Oh my God.
Anyway, what have you sent me?
Somebody put him down.
It's a timeline of Mega Man where you can just kind of just read through a quick overview of it. But then if you really
Why
want
couldn't you have just read this? This is much quicker than what you said.
Because it's an entire document. But what's important to note is that after the Z games or Zero games, Mega Man Legends is set like thousands of years in the future. So to me, they just don't exist within the same universe because they suck.
And who is the legend?
Not Mega Man, because that game sucked.
Oh. What about Superman?
Even worse.
Ooh, dangerous
Well,
thing to say online there.
Are the Mega Man Zero games all on GBA?
Yes. And then it just came out on the Switch.
Quickly.
Huh?
Must have pumped them out quickly.
The GBA was around for quite a while.
Even so, 4 games is a lot on a platform.
Let's see, when did they
And
all
even still as well, they got, was it 7 or 8 of them on the NES?
6.
6, yeah. I was close.
Yeah. So 04 came out in 05. Yeah, 4 of them in 3 years.
In 3 years?
The Mega Man games came out quick. They were...
So I know you've not played them, Eric, but do you know if there's any major differences between the 4 games, or are they like the original Mega Man game where they kind of just kind of followed suit?
I don't really know exactly what they are. But yeah. I don't know. I plan on playing through them. I started 02. It picks up right at the end because 0, when you beat the game, 0 leaves the resistance base and kind of goes off on his own. And it picks up right there where you're wandering through the desert, and it's...
Well, I don't know if you covered this because, like I said, I wasn't really listening. I normally try and find like interesting facts and bits of trivia and stuff like that, and I couldn't find very much for this game at all. The only kind of bit of trivia I found was that Mega Man X was initially planned to be the villain of the series instead of Copy X, but due to the release of Mega Man X6, the idea was omitted.
Well, and I think that I'm glad they didn't do that because X he's a hero of the Reploids, and to have him suddenly turn Maverick when he was the best Maverick hunter, I think it would have been quite a bit of a stretch.
He could have been corrupted or something, like a bit of malicious code, you know. There's plenty of MacGuffins that you could have invented to.
Yeah, you could have, but I don't know.
You just replacing him with a photocopy, it just seems stupid.
Oh, Jesus.
Then that spaceship at the end. Whew. No, I the reason I ask, Eric, is because, like I said, to a degree, I did kind of enjoy this game. And if they got better throughout the series, I'd probably be willing to give some of the other ones a go. I don't imagine I'd stick with them very long, but I'd be willing to give them a go. If they improve, if it's essentially the same thing over and over, then I probably wouldn't be willing to try out more of the Zero series. And I'll be honest, I'm not completely enthused about trying out any more Mega Mans, to be honest.
You aren't?
I'm opposite, actually, Eric. I enjoyed when we played through the other Mega Mans, but I really enjoyed this one more.
See,
I think it had extra fluidity, and I just enjoyed the different combat options and things like that, and the ability to upgrade your weapons and things was cool. And it actually, I went from hating it to actually quite enjoying it and potentially wanting to play more of them. I think it reminded me of 20XX as well.
Yeah. What I can think of, just thinking about the minor changes I've noticed with 02 is you don't choose your missions from a list. It actually goes back to the traditional choosing your actual bosses that you want to go and fight.
This, from what I can see, this was criticized for not having that.
Yeah, it was a little bit too much of a stark departure. They added forms and EX skills by completing various tasks. Let's see. I don't know what the other ones are. Because obviously I haven't gotten into 03, but I definitely am going to play through the rest of these series because I really enjoyed this.
Interesting. They were released as a single release on the DS. I'm surprised you haven't picked that up and played that before.
I have the Zero collection on DS.
You just haven't played it.
I started it.
It's still sealed.
No, unfortunately, I only have the cartridge for it. I haven't been able to find the box, but I started it and I was really put off by it at first because I didn't like the mechanic of you fail, you can't do that mission again. And this time playing through it, I played through it on Switch and I told myself I'm not going to utilize the checkpoint system, which you can turn on and off. I wanted to play through it in its original form. So I just abused the saving and reloading constantly.
Oh, I have found an interesting thing here regarding the editing of it. In the original Japanese version, robot characters that were wounded by being cut in half or sliced up would spurt oil. Due to the oil's resemblance to blood, much of this was moved in the North American European versions to obtain an E rating for the game. Similarly, this blood-like oil appeared in animated cutscenes of Mega Man X4 a few years earlier, though the game still received an E rating then. This is most notable in the opening scene of Mega Man Zero. And there is a little image here with like oil spurting out of these. The English version of the Mega Man Zero series has some edited instances of words such as die or death, replacing them with terms such as perish, destroy, or retire, most likely to maintain the E rating.
Dan, you will like that the games when you beat it have a New Game Plus mode that carry over your stuff from the original. Your original playthrough. I know you get a big boner for New Game Plus.
Sometimes if it's done well, if it's just there.
Yeah.
Best New Game Plus was Final Fantasy X-2. That had a really good one.
Ooh, apparently 04 has weather systems where you can change level conditions.
Weather.
Yes. So yeah, that's Mega Man Zero.
Well done. We got through it.
We did. Thank you for humoring
Well
me.
done,
I
everyone.
apologize when we were looking for a game to fill the time slot. How long to beat off had it listed at like 3 hours? I probably spent 10. It was
sure
not
how long I
Probably
spent
took
it.
me about, to be fair, it probably only took me 4, 5.
I was using save states, so my clock
So
was
was I.
wrong.
Yeah, I was not using save states, so it was definitely much longer. Plus, I did all the farming for the cyber elves and wanted to experience
I did
that.
not. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah. Well, you should have read the messages that I sent in WhatsApp because I specifically called that out.
I did, but I knew I wasn't playing it then, so I immediately dismissed them.
Well, then you're at fault for your own demise.
Shall we go on to some
hard-
Facebook
it's-
comments?
It's hard to wade through the quagmire of our WhatsApp messages sometimes.
Yes, it is.
See, in the past, I suggested us maybe having some different groups for specific things, but like we've just ended up descending into madness in like 3 separate groups. Then that's the problem.
Yeah. No, we just need the one.
Oh, God, we couldn't be serious. It wouldn't happen. Aye, Facebooks. Let's do it.
Find us at facebook.com/group/factory sealed podcast. What do we have?
Also on the other social medias as well. At Factory Sealed
Meteors.
Podcast.
The first comment comes from Sarah Irvin. I'm a bit ashamed to admit, but I've never beaten a Mega Man game. Just never had any interest in the whole shooting up thing. Yeah. That was irritating to someone used to Super Metroid, but I've realized I need to beat at least one. So if I was only going to play one of the hundreds of Mega Man games out there, which would you folks, I'm going to say Eric, not folks, recommend?
So people have asked that question quite a bit in the past is where do I jump into the series? And I think there are two places to really enter the series, and it depends if you want a more modern Mega Man experience or if you want the classic experience. And
Well, I'm just going to interrupt you second, Eric, because I've just realised part of Dalton Suter's next question also says, I don't know if you want to tie this in, he's put as part of his question, I've asked this to the group before, but I think it would make a decent discussion. Where is the best place to hop into the Mega Man/Mega Man X series? So maybe combine the two.
So I'll separate this into two. If you want the more traditional, true form Mega Man experience, start with 2. Mega Man 1 is great, but like you said, Mike, it is brutally difficult. It's not as refined as 2. Getting to the end of Mega Man 1 is just a Herculean effort because fighting Yellow Devil, to me, that's the end of the game because it's just unnecessarily unfair. 2, I think, is the pinnacle of classic Mega Man. Yeah, they peaked early, but after that, you get like the charge, you get the slide shot. Then 6, you get additional upgrades with jetpacks and things like that. But 2, if you want just a great, refined Mega Man experience, 2 is the best place to start. And it's not incredibly difficult. It's a ton of fun. It's got the best soundtrack across the board of any of the Mega Man games. But if you want something that's a little bit more fast-paced, a little bit more refined, more modern, jump in with the X series, because then you get your dash, you get all your charge shots, you get the wall climbing, you get the upgrades, a little bit of the RPG elements to it. Either one of those, you're not going to be disappointed.
I've dabbled with X, and I quite enjoy X.
Isn't the first X on Nintendo Classic Online as well on the Switch? So it's quite accessible. Is it on there?
I don't think it is.
Don't quote me on that.
I know
it's on the SNES Classic.
I'll have to check.
But I will say that the X series tails off really quick. X2 is great, brutally difficult. X3 is probably the worst Mega Man game I've played to date. It's so unbelievably boring and generic. It's got some of the shittiest music to the point where when I'm playing it, I just have it on mute. So don't jump in on 3. I don't know. Mega Man 2, 3, and 4 are fantastic. 5 is okay. 6 is... I really like 6. I've just started dabbling again in Mega Man 8 for the PlayStation. But again, if you want to jump in somewhere, jump in with 2 or with X.
Maybe I'll give one of them a go at some point. I have like perfectly legal copies of both on my Vita, so...
The problem with X is that if you really want to get all of the upgrades, it's got some incredibly difficult maneuvers that you need to pull off that can be extremely frustrating. But you can get a Hadouken at the end of the game. Hadouken! Which, if you can pull off on the final boss, is, I think, a one-hit kill.
Yeah, sweet. The rest of Dalton's question was, who would win the Blockbuster Summer Movie Battle of the Year? Whatman versus Superman, Eric edition.
Ooh. Whatman? Because he would just ask the other guy questions to death.
Morgan Moore.
But why?
Morgan Moore, what's your guys' favorite Game Boy Advance game? Mine would probably have to be Metroid Fusion. Also, any plans for more GBA on the show soon?
I think there needs to be more GBA on the show.
There's plenty of GBA to experience. There's a toss-up between a few for me. I mean, Final Fantasy VI Advance, loved that. Pokemon Ruby, or perhaps Minish Cap.
Yeah. For me, it's a toss-up between Minish Cap and Harvest Moon Friends at Mineral Town.
So I have very
I want to try.
What, Mike?
I have very, very, very little experience with GBA. I literally have played 2 Game Boy Advance games, that being Mega Man 0 and Pokemon Fire Red, the only Game Boy Advance games I played, because I never owned one in the past.
Tactics Advance
I'm hoping there's going to be more GBA on the show because it gives me an excuse to play them. But I think because I've been trying to make my way through some of the top-down Zeldas, but I like to have a gap between them.
Did you play Minish Cap with us, or was that before your time?
No, it was before I was on the show. And Minish Cap, a toss-up of the next one I'm going to play is either going to be A Link to the Past, which I've never played, or Minish Cap.
Go with Minish Cap, dude. That game is something else.
It'd be a good excuse. But I said to you guys, we ended up coming up with this game when I said, why don't we do something on Game Boy Advance? Because what I try to do when we haven't got a game planned and we're like, Crick, we need to find a game. What I tend to do personally is I try to see what consoles we haven't touched for a while, which is why we ended up with Game Boy Advance. And further on that, I want to play more Game Boy Advance games. So if anyone has any suggestions, especially some smaller experiences, because as I say, I'm playing Skyrim at the moment as well, and then Final Fantasy and Resident Evil.
For a while, I've had Golden Sun sitting on my nightstand that I would dabble in for a while, and that is a fantastic little RPG.
Yeah, see, I don't want another RPG at the moment. So if anyone's got any suggestions of like some smaller experiences and stuff, they'd be very welcome. And also suggestions for the show to play them as well.
I mentioned them earlier, but the Mario remakes on the Game Boy Advance are fantastic.
Yeah, they're good.
Super Mario Advance 2, 3, and 4, where they just redo 3
What's
and
the
Super Mario.
differences? They're not just ports.
They are just ports, but they've added challenges and stuff to them.
Interesting.
No,
Yeah, I'd love to play some more GBA. So I do hope some more comes up on the show.
The Sonic Advance games are really good as well, actually.
Oh, speaking of GBA games I've been playing, I put in Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance on the GBA again and got past that game-breaking bug. So, onward.
Onwards and upwards.
Yes.
I'm obsessed with that game.
Oh, God. I can't wait for you guys to play that for the show. It's
At least
so
they stopped
fucking
playing
good.
Spirit Tracks.
I beat it finally. Fucking threw that thing away. What a pile of shit. God.
It's nearly as big as bad as Kingdom Hearts 2, am I right, Tom?
Fuck that game. Never want to touch that thing again. What a pile of shit.
So, am I right in thinking we don't have an official show next week? Not next week, week after. The 22nd.
That's when one is scheduled.
Well, I don't know. I didn't know if we were, because obviously we're in Vegas for a long
Yeah, but if we do something portable, you guys can play it on the plane.
I want to play Skyrim on the plane.
Oh, fuck.
Damn it, Eric.
I don't know. Our whole schedule is fucked. We were originally supposed to be starting Wind Waker next.
That ain't happening.
No, it is not.
I have the feeling this is going to continue for the rest of the year.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a bear with us. We'll see what happens. I mean, there's still talk of possibly me, Eric, and Tom doing some content while we're there together. But
yeah, it won't be an official show because that would be 200.
Yeah.
So
we need to figure some
with
things
Phil
out.
left
on that note, I want to say we haven't planned anything special for our episode 200. Like we did with our 100 episode, we don't have a special game, anything iconic. We're just going to kind of roll through. But I think what I want to ask is, over the past 8 years, we've grown, we've evolved, and Factory Sealed means something special to each of us as the hosts on the show. And it's just kind of become this part of who we are. And over the years, we've gotten messages from people about, thanking us for what we do and the community that we've built. And something I'd like to do on the 200th episode is have a segment where people either write in, but I'd prefer people to send us an audio clip of not your favorite memories, but what does Factory Sealed mean to you? However you want to interpret that. And we can splice those in and have those on the show. So I think that's something that I'd like to have done. So you can send those to factorysealed@manatank.com, or you can connect with one of us on Facebook and send it to us through Messenger. However you want to do that. Upload it to Drive, share us a link, whatever. If you want to send us a video, we'll pull the audio out of it. Doesn't matter.
Upload it to Xhamster. Give us a link.
We will definitely find it there. You don't even need to give us the link. We'll find it.
Is that normal X-Hamster or Mega Man 20 X-Hamster?
This episode brought to you by our wonderful Patreon sponsors, with an extra special thank you to Zach Foley, Santos Lopez, Sarah Irvine, Drew Barlow, Peabody, Wes Rainey, Phil Gartside, Nicholas Bradley, James Hall, Thomas McGrew, Richard Cuttress, Jordan Lawfrey, Jason McGill, Stephanie, Chad Schaefer, Miles Prower, Jeremy Lucas, Shannon McIntosh, and Samuel Chun.